Hello, welcome to T Sports Network. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to some tabletop sports on a lovely Sunday evening in the UK. But when we go over to Orange County, California in a moment for the Smalltown Throwdown, we will be watching some exciting Age of Sigmar being brought to you by Gareth, the Nooge, and everyone in the small town team, which I'm very much looking forward to. We've got a very exciting first match, and we also have an exciting pairing for the whole match. So there's about 40 players playing at this event. So the small town crew, they initially started doing GTs like 3 years ago, very small one-man GTs, and my table boss, Gareth, was the person who started this off. Now we've expanded to having massive 80-person. I think the last Old Town Throwdown was 80 people, and now the small town Throwdown is a little bit smaller, 40 people. But again, just building up more GTs and more events happening over there is really exciting. And we've got the new ogres are in. There are 2 undefeated Underguts lists in the bracket, so probably going into round 5, which we will be streaming later tonight if you're in the UK, and if you're in the US in the morning, later on in the day. We're going to have some. We're probably going to see some Iron Blasters play, unless they both lose, which is going to be pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to it. They were paired against each other. Oh my goodness. I've just heard that they were paired against each other. Okay, absolutely thrilling stuff. So we definitely will see one of them in the final. Yeah. But yeah. Hello, chat. Thanks for joining us live. Tom, Double Bluff, Aspron. Hello, everyone. If you watch this back on YouTube, like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Here we go. And special shout out to Gareth, who's my table boss today. He did all the technical setup. So there you can see we're getting the live feed right now of Aaron playing against Kurt. Kurt's actually at the top of the table, and Gareth might be able to press a button to switch the players over on the overlay. So the overlay will say that Kurt's at the top, or is the other player around, which will be fun. But yeah, we've got Aaron at the bottom deploying his Cruel Boys army. So he's running Grinning Blades, and he's up against Kurt, who's running Living City. Now, I've talked about Kurt's list previously on the stat center, apparently, because it's got a bunch of Hurricanums. And we all know Aaron has been pushing Cruel Boys around a lot and has been doing quite well with them. Sometimes in Big War, today it's 100% inside a Cruel Boys sub-faction. So will those Battle Scroll updates have had an effect with those point reductions? Will we see some more on the table? Not 100% certain. I'd love to know what you guys think in the chat. If you want to check out the lists, I've typed, you can type exclamation list in the chat, but I've also pressed them so you can check them out. And we'll go through the lists as we go now. But before we do anything else, I'm going to be able, I'm pretty certain I can do this, yeah. I'm going to bring in my table boss, Gareth. Gareth, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's lovely to hear from you. How is it at the start of the event there today?
Good. Yeah, everyone's bright and well. We've got a lot of hungover faces, to be honest, but no, it's looking good.
Big party scene in Orange County?
I don't think anyone has ever said that Orange County is a big party scene, but we do our best.
I don't know. So you're a man. Okay, Kurt and Aaron, how are they looking? Are they looking fresh? Are they looking ready? What do you think?
They're looking fresh and handsome and ready to go, I think.
Perfect. All right. Well, so Gareth, thanks very much. I really appreciate you. So our man in the field, Mr. Old Town Throwdown himself, is an excellent judge. I think he's going to be doing some judging over at LVO as well. So we've got a perfect table boss and man on the field to be a ref. This is round 4 of the event. We on the objective zone we don't cover as 1, 2, and 3, which is on the Saturday. So it's just around 4. We're meant to do an English event earlier in the day, but we didn't get the internet working over there. So right now, USA 1, England 0. In that regard, but yeah, we got this is gonna be round 4, and we will be doing round 5 later. So if you're excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about what's in the army, shall we? First one, let's go look at our Cruel Boys list. So if we're taking a look here at the list, we've got an Uruk Warclans army. It's Cruel Boys, it's Grinning Blades. So you're not going to be able to see them outside of 12 inches for shooting. Now, this is going to come in to some effect because we're going to have to see those Hurricanums try and do some shooting. It's going to be quite interesting. There's a Swamp Caller Shaman and a Swamp Caller Shaman, and they're followed by, of course, them Pockrots. Since the Battle Scroll update, going to be able to dish out those mortal wounds and also cast spells. Got access to nasty hex for turn up ward saves. Not going to be overly effective into the opposing army, but still useful when it comes up. We've got the Killer Boss and Corpse Ripper Vulture. This is one of those with the command trait super sneaky and the mount trait fasten. So you can be able to move very fast up the board. And I think this is the first time I'm going to see it in effect. This is the first time I think we're going to see how this is used. Aaron's been using this a lot. There's been a few Cruel Boys players around the world who've been able to utilize some of these, I would say, underpowered units, but quite cheap units. 220 points for what is a 14 wound monster that can move potentially 28 inches is quite an interesting tech piece because it doesn't necessarily generate power, but what it does do is generate onboard utility. So I'm quite excited to see how Aaron decides to use it in this game. He's also got that Snatcher boss on Sludge Beast, which I think is deployed in this bottom right-hand corner behind this garrison, but I'm not certain if it's down yet. Gareth will be able to update me in a moment. Okay, Sludge Raker is the one that's currently being measured. And as you can see, he's looking for the ranges on its range to be able to do mortal wounds. So we've got a unit of 6 Bolt Boys in here, another unit of 6 Bolt Boys in here, which are also in the list. And then 30, count them if you've got nothing to do, 30, 30 Gut Rippers. Right, which is a lot of wounds. It's 60 wounds. They don't have a particularly high bravery, and they don't have a particularly good save. But that's a lot of attacks, especially with Galician veterans, so they can fight in 2 ranks, really. So it's going to be a lot of mortal wounds. And the Corpse Ripper, sorry, not the Corpse Ripper, the Sludge Raker here means that they can do an additional mortal wound when they do their mortal wounds with their venom-encrusted weapons. So they've got, like, poison spears that can murder stuff. And when they do get into combat, any 6s to hit are going to do a mortal wound. If they're within range of the Sludge Raker, it's going to be 2 mortal wounds. That's a lot of attacks. 2 attacks each. Going to be fighting in 2 ranks. You're looking at 40 attacks. You're potentially looking at maybe 12 to 14 mortal wounds out of that unit. That's enough to kill most enemy units, which is pretty fun. Backed up by those 2 units of Bolt Boys here, so they're going to probably be doing 2 shots apiece because they're going to be moving at a limited range, but their power projection, again, for mortal wounds, because they're 2 damage apiece, so 2 mortal wounds, is probably going to be into the midboard on these objectives, which is going to be very key when we talk about the battle plan, which is the Prize of Galette, which is one of my favorites. One of my favorites, the Prize of Galette. So there are 5 objectives, and as is being asked in the chat by Shadow Sun, as you can see, they overlap in the center. Rules are, in Age of Sigmar, if you want to hold an objective and a unit is over 2 objectives, the models in that unit can only count for contesting an objective. So you can't count for 2, so that's going to come in quite key. But the important part is, at the start of the game, none of the objectives are active. So whoever goes second at the start of the first turn, the first battle round, is going to get to choose to activate one of those. So that's actually going to be massive, especially as we know that Aaron is on a 2-drop for his army. So whoever goes second, whoever gets the choice to go second, or no, whoever gets made to go second or chooses to go second, is probably going to be Aaron. He's going to be like, do you know what? I'm going to activate one of the 3 center objectives, because you can't activate the top or the bottom. And then he's going to engage, and then he gets to activate it and then choose a proving ground. So this is a very tactical battle plan. Having low drops is incredibly good for this army, or for any army in this mission. So useful. Who's he up against? Kurt Roper. Now, Kurt's apparently a bit of a shark. He's been playing Warhammer a long time out there in Western America. The West Coast, sorry, that's I think the best coast? I don't know if that's true. Some people have told me. True, apparently. So he's running Living Cities in the Cities of Sigmar list. Living Cities, sorry, more importantly. Hello, Davadam's in the chat. He's got a Celestial Hurricane. Oh, why don't we look at it? We're not talking about it. Let's look. He's got... Now, it is a Crunchbine Incarnate list. Let's just be careful and talk about that. That's important. Yes, Owen, what up? Hello in the chat. Well done on going 4-1 today. Shout out to everyone in the UK who's just finished up some major events. So we've got the Incarnate, and you can already see that's deployed in the center there. We don't need to ask where that is. Then we've got a character, or a Celestial Hurricanum, specifically with a Battle Mage on top. So that is that's at the top there. He's got the Master of Magic in the Arcane Tomes, who's a 2-cast wizard. He's got, and he's bonded to the Crunchbine Incarnate of Gerst. He's going to get +1 to cast. Naturally gets +1 to cast from its own aura, so +2 to cast. With a reroll makes it a very successful wizard. Then you've got the Celestant Prime. You've got 2 units of Ironbreakers, a unit of Freeguild Crossbowmen, and a unit of Freeguild Guard, all not reinforced. And then 2 Celestial Hurricanums. This is an absolutely wild list. I don't know if it has the output. That's the kind of question that we've got to ask ourselves, chat. and it's time to kind of like start talking about these things, the engagements. The Crunchspine Incarnate into the Gut Rippers is going to take a lot of Gut Rippers out. You could say it's going to rip the gut out of that unit. 10 points. But the Gut Rippers themselves are going to be able to do enough wounds to that Crunchspine Incarnate that it should be able to drop it a level. And he's also got the Bolt Boys to trade off, which is pretty fun. I think the Bolt Boys are outranged by the Hurricanums, but thankfully for Aaron, he is running Grinning Blades, so he can't be seen outside of 12 inches. So those Bolt Boys are going to be pretty immune to most of that shooting. That feels very, very good for Aaron going into this matchup. Now, I wonder what everyone else in the chat thinks. Yes, hello, Eric. Hello, lovely to see you. Eric, who was the TO for the last event we covered at Uppsala on the Objective Zone. So don't forget, this is only round 4 as well, so there's going to be another round later tonight. So that's going to be in the UK, if you're on UK time. That's going to start at 10 p.m. at night, roughly. So if you want to tune in, it's going to be really fun. And it's definitely going to feature Iron Guts and some Iron Blasters. Underguts, sorry. Iron Blasters. All right, we're still in deployment. As you can see, we're being screened here. Kurt, by the way, is running a Battle Regiment and Expert Conquerors. So he is a 3-drop as a list. So he's not going to get the choice to go first. So I know there's some good people in the chat who know what they're talking about when it comes to Age of Sigmar. Who do you think is going, like, what do you think Aaron's going to do? Do you think he's going to take the first turn? Do you think he's going to give the first turn away? There's obvious strength in this mission for giving the first turn away, because you get the opportunity to choose a proving ground and also one of the objectives. But the problem is that, we got the handshake. I'm going to get to find out right now. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. Gareth is going to let us know. Oh, Aaron's got the choice. What does everyone else think? So, yeah, Aaron just doing his dirty tricks. Yeah, because he's a Cruel Boys player. He's covered in mud and grossness. And so he's going to be doing his dirty tricks. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Time to look at the win rates for these armies, because they need talking about. Because the Cruel Boys list, oh my goodness. Not necessarily covering itself in glory, the Cruel Boys. The Grinning Blades, which is the one that's taken here, currently has a 36% win rate for Cruel Boys. So not overly successful as an army. Let's just put it that way. Living Cities obviously had a lot of success last edition when they could make their pre-game moves. That was something that was really positive for them. We haven't seen them a lot in this meta. So in the Galette Battle Pack, we've seen them a very limited amount. And we've seen a lot more Howlerheart, especially because of the Crunchspine Incarnate. They're currently sat on a 47% win rate. So I would say that it's looking pretty good for Living City. But looking at the board state, I got to say, the numbers don't add up for me. I feel like it's Cruel Boys' game. What's the win rate for the Crunchspine, though? That's a great question, chat. That's an absolutely great question. Is Aaron making the choice there, Gareth? What do we know? Oh, he's still thinking about what dirty trick to do. Okay, so at the start of a battle, if you are running those goddamn Cruel Boys, which is rare, you really don't see that much anymore, then you get to do some dirty tricks, which we're going to talk about right now. Let me go. Okay, so he's gone with Super Sneaky. Do what he decides to do with that. So yeah, when he does do he's done Super Sneaky, not Lethal. Oh, it's Disappearing Act? No, not covered in mud. Lethal Surprise? No. Let me find out. Super Sneaky is the command trait. Yes, thank you very much, chat. Thank you, chat. Kurt's still done well with his list even after all the nerfs. Yes, Kurt has done well with his list. Yeah, Living City. It's actually quite interesting. The triple Hurricanum. They're just mortal wound cannons, and as you can see, we've seen them deployed now, right? Well, they're not. Okay. Okay, so we're seeing the unit. We're seeing Disappearing Act being used right now. which is you roll 3 dice for each 4+. You can pick one different enemy unit on the battlefield that's not been reinforced. Then roll a dice for each unit you picked. Roll is greater than that unit's wounds characteristic. Your opponent must remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up as a reserve unit. So he's decided to do that with a unit of Iron Breakers on the right-hand side, it looks like. Now, there are 2 Hurricaneums off the board, if I can just triple-check with Gareth that that's correct. And the Prime. So we do have 3 units currently off the board. So 2 Hurricaneums belonging to the Living City player, and also the Celestin Prime. So looking to do a lot of mortal wounds. The Prime can do some amazing damage into this Cruel Boys army. You pick a point within 24 inches with his Scepter, and every unit within 3 inches takes mortal wounds. And there's some real nice opportunities to do that here. You've got this big block of gut rippers. You've got some bolt boys. You've also got the sludge raker, so you could do some good damage there. Bring in the Hurricaneums to do more mortal wounds. It's going to be very interesting. So they're off the board, and we've just heard that Aaron has given the turn away. Aaron has given the turn away to Kurt. Kurt's got the choice to go. Kurt has to go first. Aaron's also made this objective, as you can see here, the active objective. So this one has been activated over here. These, as you can see, it looks like a unit of Hobgrots. Noble Hobgrots are holding this objective. And it's the proving ground, so it's only gonna you're only gonna be able to grab this if you use. Oh wow, what a really nice play from Aaron! So what Aaron has done is he's given the turn away. He's taken this unit of Galician veterans, which are the only unit that could go and grab the objective. They've teleported them off the board and set them up in reserve with a super sneaky trick with Disappearing Act. He's then activated this objective. And then there are no units, I think, that have the Galician veteran keyword, well, aren't Galician veterans, that are going to be able to come and grab this objective, because it will also be a proving ground. That's very clever. That's some really nice play, because that immediately says you probably won't be able to score any primary points this turn. You're going to struggle. You won't be able to even do something like against the odds. This is very nice from Aaron as an early play. That's some nice chess that I really enjoyed the look of. Apparently, Aaron says on the tabletop, you have to be a nasty bitch to win with Cruel Boys. Okay, I mean, that makes a lot of sense narratively. Like, no one's... Eric says in the chat, it's a scary amount of mortal wounds in the shooting phase. Absolutely, Eric. I mean, there's a lot of mortal wounds in this list anyway. I think it's always been... It's not a paper tiger, this army, or maybe it is. It's definitely a glass cannon. It's going to hit very, very hard when it does hit. I would say survivability has always been its issue. And so Aaron giving himself the opportunity to go up on points early might be quite important because he might not have lots of army left later on in the game. That said, he's got some good survivability into some of these key pieces. Can't be shot outside of 12 inches. Probably can... Oh, it will have. Thank you very much. It did. Absolutely fantastic. There you go. Just keep updated. Because he doesn't rely on the Fulminator. So killing Mesmouse, what up? Thanks for being the first-time chatter. You big fans of Kurt. Kurt apparently has always loved his living sitting army, but after the Fulminator's got nerfed, he's continued to play with it. And I do remember I've spoken about Kurt going at least 4-1 with this list before. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does with it, because both these two players have been pushing around very non-meta lists and doing something interesting with it. Neither of these two players are currently in the winner's bracket, though, so we do have 4 undefeated. And in round 5, we'll feature... Okay. -1 to be wounded spell has been cast onto the Kronspine as well. I would say normally that would be quite important, but it's not going to be that important into a Cruel Boys army because they do a lot of mortal wounds. Oh, Ramon Silver in the chat. Hello, Ramon. Lovely to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us live. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We are covering this event from Orange County, California, which is cool. Very much looking forward to it. They're at +8 hours. Oh, and Mystic Shield on the Kronspine. Again, I would normally say quite important. All very vital info, and Gareth's doing great. But I think everyone in the chat is very convinced about the fact that this is just going to be some outlandish mortal output when it goes in. I would say the Kronspine's going to yeet itself into the army, but I don't know if it's going to do the output. Like, I mean, it could do some pretty significant stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, the Inspiring Presence will probably be enough that the fight back from the Kronspine, it's just going to go over here and try and grab this objective. It's going to be very interesting. Hello, Hams fan. Couldn't make it over the rock. Oh, let's talk about the terrain very quickly. This piece of terrain, player-placed terrain at the event. It's a very American thing that we see going off, especially because they have some of the larger events. So instead of having predetermined maps, they let the players place the terrain in like a roll-off situation. And then we have two garrisons here in the center. These two pieces here in the middle of cover. So we've got cover and cover. These are garrisons. These are garrisons. Those buildings. And then we have some wildwoods at the bottom here and at the bottom, at the top over there. And then we got a piece of impassable in this central rock and another piece of impassable. So that Kronsbein Incarnate wanted to get over that bit of terrain. He just wasn't able to get over there because it was impassable. So that's nice. Hello, Drewbury, tuning in from Canada. Warhammer coverage is perfect for snowy afternoon. The guys over, so the Nuge, who's running this event, because it is the Smalltown Throwdown, wants to continue running events over in Orange County and around that area. So if anyone wants to travel over and go and play Warhammer with these guys, they're going to run regular events, and you can always go check them out. If you go check out Smalltown Throwdown on Twitter, that's a great way to go find out any event information. Or if you follow Old Town Throwdown on Twitter, and I'll include the link in the chat and in the show notes, so people will be able to go find that whenever they want to, and then you can go check out all the events that are happening around there. I don't know if anyone. This isn't Texas. This is Orange County, California. So there you go. There's the link in the chat if you want to go follow along to the Twitter account and find out about more events that are happening around that area. Snow, I thought it went the way of the dodo. Some people have snow still. Still happening. Kronsbein can yeet, but nothing will cover the shame of having it in your list. I agree with you, Terry. I agree. I'm not sure what is. So as you can see, the Kronsbein has yeeted. I think, looking at the board, he's going to be making like a 10-inch charge. Get in there. Oh, maybe an 8. Okay, great. Thank you, Table Boss. Even better. Yeah, the OC, the Orange County. Exactly. Yes, Kenny in the chat. How you doing? Lovely to see Mr. Kenny Lull in the chat. Big fan of Kenny. Okay, what's in the list and what we see moving around, just to keep everyone updated. So we've got a unit Hobgrots in this bottom right-hand corner, 30 Gut Rippers here, Sudraker in the center, Bolt Boys and Bolt Boys on the left. So these are the Bs on the screen, the Bolt Boys. There's a screen of Hobgrots in front of the Bolt Boys on the left-hand side, I'm pretty certain. Our Corpse Ripper Vulture is at the back of the board over here, so our Corpse Ripper Vulture is in the back. Then we're moving on, so that's everything belonging to Aaron. Kurt's got 2 Hurricanums off the board and a Celestant Prime. Then, so don't forget that might come down still at the end of this movement phase, which could be pretty key. He's got a unit of, I'm pretty certain this is Iron Breakers that have just moved into the center. And then we have at the back in this garrison, maybe we've got ourselves a unit of Crossbowmen. Oh, okay, so the Sword and Board Men. So our Free Guild Guard, like, they should probably stay in that house because they're going to be squatted to oblivion next year. So not long for them to live. They just stay in there, lads. Don't come out. Pretend like no one knows you are. The Ironbreakers, though, are great. Ironbreakers are Dwarden, Grimnir's folk. Powerful, small, but covered in armor. And because they're Ironbreakers, they've got a great armor save. Putting them in cover makes them tougher to deal with. In almost every other situation, that this would be a perfect play. But the Crawboys army is quite interesting. Oh, okay, so we're having a unit of crossbowmen. Oh, perfect. Deep striking on the board. So they are deep striking. So they were off the board as well. So now we're going to see the end of the movement phase. Crunchbite moved into the middle. The Hurricanum character moved here on the left. Our Ironbreakers in the middle. And then this is all at the top of turn 1. Our crossbowmen on the right-hand side are coming on with 2 Hurricanums and a Prime to come off the board as well. It's going to be really interesting. Dolly objectives really should be standard. Oh, so these are, yes, the doily objectives, yes. So I'll tell you what, Gareth is actually from Wales. And so they have some Welsh objective markers, some doilies. I'm pretty certain. Gareth, I'll just let you in the audio, Gareth. Is that correct? Have I got that right?
You are correct that I am Welsh. You are not correct that I would put doilies down as objective markers.
Okay, maybe someone has. So I don't know what the situation is.
Actually, these objective markers are Kurt, one of the players, created and sold everyone around here these neoprene objective markers. So you'll see a lot of them around here, rather than the horrible transparent plastic things that some people sell.
They're the worst. They're the worst. I agree
Yes,
with
they
you.
are.
Yes.
The thing is, we play a lot of outdoor Warhammer here because it's always sunny, and they actually melt and they warp in the sun. The plastic ones do, which is why we don't use them.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, well, we only get 3 days of summer here in the UK, so we never expected that.
Yep.
All right. Well, lovely. Thank you very much, Gareth. There you go. So you can, if you would like to pick yourself up some doily objective markers, they're being sold by these guys. Global warming ruining outdoor AOS. I agree. Yeah. Super fun. Okay, so I don't think we've had anything else come on the board just yet. Oh, let me get it. So these are iron breakers that got super sneakied off the board, or more importantly, not super sneakied, but they got disappearing acted off the board. So they've gone and they're back now, holding no objectives. So none of those objectives are active, other than the one on the far right hand side. That's the thing. Dude, you should see the wind damage some KO ships took outside last year outside. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Thank you to Old Town Throwdown and also again with the stream. Super pleasure. I'm really happy that Gareth and the Nuge decided to jump in on Objective Zone early as early adopters. I think this is going to be something that I already have had loads of fun talking to everyone today. I know that there's some hilarious meme Iron Blaster lists for round 5. So I'm just excited to be talking about Warhammer as always, and I'm excited to see Kurt and Aaron play. I've been seeing Aaron. Aaron's pretty vocal online. He doesn't mind. He's not shy with his opinions and feelings. So he's out there ready to kick ass. And then Kurt's been playing some. And he's got some outrageous style. And Kurt's got some. Kurt's been playing some very, very interesting. Pretty fun. Got some almost beat blasters yesterday. I believe in you. Right, so we got a crossbowman down. Have we had anything else come on the board? The output's going to be very wild here. This Kronspine might be able to. 2 Hurricanums and the Prime are staying off the board. That's pretty interesting. Because there is a potential double coming up. There's the Bolt Boys and the Bolt Boys. So I guess what Kurt's giving Aaron here is he's saying, look, you can absolutely have the Kronspine Incarnate over the next 2 turns, but if he does get into combat with, the with the Gut Rippers, if he gets into combat with the Gut Rippers, then I think he's going to trade the Incarnate for the Gut Rippers, and I think that puts him in a strong position. But that's a pretty important charge. I don't think we didn't see a redeploy come from Aaron. I feel like it's an 8 or 9 inch charge. This might be outside of redeploy range, which is 9 inches. If you get within 9 inches of an opposing unit, then it gets the opportunity to redeploy. You can only do that once per turn, but you would have had an opportunity to make that charge longer. I think both players kind of okay with trading the Incarnate for the Gut Rippers, but then it's how many some Hobgrots, the Crossbowmen. 3 guild crossbowmen. Oh my gosh. There they are, shooting away. Still absolutely a steal as a unit, those crossbowmen. Just really, really solid. They've made it in loads of lists, been really competent in Cities Sigmar lists for a while. There we go. So we've got 6 Hobgrots left. Shot, and they've been taken off the objective. They've got a very low bravery, so we could see even more of them battle shock off the board. The Corpse Ripper Vulture is here, though, and the Corpse Ripper Vulture is our general. Double check and make sure I was not lying there. Here's our general. So that 18. So that 18 inches. Oh, the crossbowmen. This is actually pretty massive. Crossbowmen are going to charge, and they need to charge so they can get on that objective. A 4 is not going to be a charge. Afraid. Yeah. Going to re-roll it. 5. That failed charge has cost him 2 CP. Not 2 CP, 2 VP from not having this objective. And then he's going to... Oh, yes, he does. He's still got his battle tactic, which is out muscle. Which is good. Oh, and when we talk about the battle tactic, just going to talk about that for a second. Out muscle. Pick an enemy Galician Veterans unit. That would have been unit the Hobgrots that has any models contesting an objective, and you complete its battle tactic if no models from that enemy unit are contesting. Okay, so a good spot there. But he failed. He didn't charge the Kronspine. Ladies and gentlemen, chat, I already don't know what the hell is going on. I would have sworn there, like, if I wasn't remembering all this at T-Sports. What is he doing? He's going to make Aaron make the decision. He's going to just shoot it. Like, oh my God. Yeah, but he's gonna just trade down, just trade into the Gut Rippers. Like now he's trading a level. Oh, okay, right. So he's elected not to charge with the Kronspine. Kurt, I hope you got a plan, my friend. I'd have at least attempted the charge. Chat, well, yeah, Galaxy Brain. Okay, he's doing something. Chat, what do you think about that decision? Right, I don't want to give away secrets. There are secrets. Okay, this is exciting. Okay. Don't forget, this Kronspine's got Mystic Shield and -1 to wound. Not that I think that overly matters against these 12 Bolt Boys that are available to Aaron, but we'll see. Eric in the chat thinking 480 points need to swear. Eric, I kind of agree with you, bud. Like, just don't know what he's doing, but like we'll see. I like that Killy Nemzals is Kurt's friend. Who's everyone rooting for? And now we're going to Aaron's first turn. So we're going into Cruel Boys' first turn. They lost 6 Hobgrots. That's all they lost on the first turn. And we've got a point on the board, but might want to just... Did we just put a single point on it? Or we might have needed to add 2 points onto the overlay. Get the score right. Let's see. I'll always be charging. Just we've got a point only put on the board, and I think we would have scored 2 points for the battle tactic. Yeah, that's sorted for everyone. I'm rooting for a good game. I'm rooting for Aaron. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. Super appreciated. Okay, yeah, this is going to be pretty fun. The Kronspine Incarnate, if it's your first time tuning into a game, if you're not a very consistent Age of Sigmar competitive player, let's talk about it. Kronspine Incarnate is like a summoned monster, but not quite. It's not summoned. It's kind of like an amalgamation of a monster and magic, a given form. And that's this big beastie here. It used to be 400 points, now up to 480 points. So 20% hike. It's one of the largest points hike a unit has ever had in Age of Sigmar. Still probably one of the most effective units in the game. Has a 4-up armor save and an effective wounds value of 18. So that's this unit here. It does have Mystic Shield now, so it's currently got a 3-up armor save. The problem is with it is if you don't do the 18 wounds to it to drop it a level, because it starts at level 2. So if you do 10 wounds to it, you get to roll 3d6. If you roll below the number, above the number, one of those things, then it doesn't drop a level. But if you roll above the number, I think it... Above the number? I don't remember. Whichever one you do, it dies, right? But you can't ever kill it in the first turn because it starts at level 2. So once you've dropped it a level, it goes to level 1. And then you have to drop it another level to drop it down to level 0. But if it kills a monster, it can go back up to level 2, and it could even go up to level 3. So this thing can become so unkillable in the right situation. So unkillable, and it's got a couple of monsters it wants to go eat. There's a Corpse Ripper Vulture, which we've just seen use its fast stun. So this is a mount trait. So the Vulture that the killer boss is put upon is a fast one. When he went to the Vulture shop, he had a couple of options, and he decided to choose the fast Vulture, not the weird-looking Vulture. Although he's kind of a fast, weird-looking Vulture, if we be honest with ourselves. And then he's moved him up in the hero phase. We've also seen Ravenak's Gnashing Jaws has been cast, and it's up here. And this is already going into this unit of Ironbreakers. Those Ironbreakers are very slow. You roll against the movement value of 4 because they're dwarfs into these guys. But because they took 7... Oh boy. Yes. Okay, so he took 7 mortal wounds. That unit of 10 already down by 70%. 3 left with Ravanax, Gnash, and Jaws. That's pretty powerful. That's good. I took it in Hallowheart with Warding Brand. So we're talking about the Crunchbine Incarnate. Do you think you should get unlimited bounce back? You get unlimited bounce back, as I understand it, as rules was written. Hasn't been FAQ to be anything else as of yet. So that continues to work. The Warding Brand. Got a redeploy. Okay, so we're currently now in the movement phase. So hero phase over. As far as I'm aware, all we got was the Ravanax Slash Jaws cast from the Shaman at the back here. Pretty effective. Has already whittled this unit down. Then we've seen the Corpse Ripper Vulture do its pre-game move up to here. Not pre-game move, hero phase move, sorry, with the Fasten. Can only do that once per battle, so that's done now. And then move again, and is now at the back of the board. This has allowed that unit of Crossbowmen to redeploy here. Our unit of Hobgrots have moved over the center, and then our Gut Rippers are moving up the board. There's no way they're charging, though. Like, absolutely no way. Like, that's not the play, in my personal opinion. I don't know what everyone else in the chat thinks, but that's definitely not what I would do. I would just be using these Bolt Boys to just shoot it to death, because he's got the double currently. Aaron's battle tactic was, sorry, we didn't get that, catch that at the start. That's going to be how he scores the points. Gaining momentum. Okay, so let's talk about gaining momentum, which that's where you have to hold more objectives than your opponent, which is going to be this single objective, which is on here. That's what he needs to do, and I think he needs to kill a unit as well. So that's going to be important. But this redeploy here is going to have really changed the shape of this, because he now doesn't have enough Hobgrots at the minute on the objective, so he's going to be looking to put that Corpse Ripper Vulture on, who counts as 5, I think, onto the objective for the kind of 5 points, for counting as 5 on the objective. But he's still going to have to kill this unit of Crossbowmen to be holding on to it, and he's potentially going to take a standard shoot from the Crossbowman. That's not going to kill the Corpse Ripper Vulture, but this could be a bit tense now for gaining his battle tactics. So it'll be fun to see if he gets it. Really fun. We've seen the Cruel Boys. Our unit of Grinning Blades move up here. So this is our unit of Gut Rippers moving up, and then we have our unit of Bolt Boys in the bottom left-hand corner moving up the board as well. Hello, Mr. Cabbage in the chat. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us live. If you'd like to press. Okay, we're shooting into the Crossbowman. Who are we shooting from? Is the question. The Bolt Boys? Oh, the Hobgrots. Oh, we're throwing trash. Okay, we're throwing some trash. Okay. The list, by the way, for everyone are in the chat, but just to keep you updated, we've got Living City versus Grinning Blades. So Cities of Sigmar versus Cruel Boys. A pretty mortal fight. They're not particularly like the most bodacious. They're not giant ogres or evil monsters of chaos. We are seeing, okay, so we're seeing the Bolt Boys in the center. So unit of 6 shooting into the Incarnate with all-out attack. So he's looking for some big 6s here, is what Aaron's looking for, because they're going to be doing 2 mortal wounds. No, 3? Any 6s to hit are going to be doing 3 mortal wounds from the Sludge Raker. Yes, Cabbage, you're right. This is a devastating army. But no 6s. Did you get any 6s there? No. 1 6 and 1 5. Wow. Okay. That's sad. And only 1 wound. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Okay. So I think we've done 2 mortal wounds so far from our 12 shots. Oh, 5 mortal wounds. Yes. Okay, yeah. So how did we get 5 mortal wounds? So when he rolled the 6, then he did 2 mortal wounds. And then because he's near the Sludge Raker, which is here, then he got an additional mortal wound. So that gave him 3. Then he rolled a 5 because he's got the Shaman nearby, which means the mortal wounds happen on 5s as opposed to just 6s. So then that was worth 2. but you don't get the bonus 1 mortal wound for that, so it gives you 5 mortal wound. That really gives you an indication of how much output. Just two rolls of a 5 or 6 on 12 dice, you've already done 5 mortal wound. But I think Aaron's going to be a little bit disappointed that wasn't enough output there to just drop this Incarnate an entire level immediately. I would be quite disappointed about that. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. He definitely doesn't want to. I don't think he wants to put the Cruel Boys in my opinion. So the other Bolt Boys didn't do any shooting. And then we've seen the Hobgrots charge, and I'm pretty certain we're going to see the Corpse Ripper Vulture charge at the top. Thinking about Unleash Hell from the Crossbowman. Hello, Mr. Moon, tearing into the chat. Hope you're well. Loads of love. This is round 4 of the Smalltown Throwdown, which you can find on BCP, but you can also find the list in the chat. And you can go check out the rest of the pairings. This is over in Orange County, California. There are 40 people battling it out. There's some pretty big names and some players of some real note at this event. And then we've got round 5 later on today. So that's going to be about 3 and maybe 3.5 hours from now, roughly. Yeah, one more game. No Unleash Hell done on the Crossbowman at the top. I assume we've only got 1 CP left for Kurt, maybe? Or maybe he's got 2. Maybe he's looking for an all-out defense and he's looking for an inspiring presence. Try and keep those models on the board. Okay, so he's got 2 CP. All right. I think you should put Objective Zone in the video title branding. Okay, thanks, Cabbage. Appreciate that. That's lovely. Okay. CP reroll of the charge on the Vulture. We did get it in. Aaron also showing off that fantastic shirt that he's rocking at the minute. Yes. We actually, it's only thanks to Gareth and the Nuge, who's running the event, who jumped in so early on the Objective Zone. Wasn't really expecting to go full-time until next year, so from January onwards, because I'm away next week. I'll be at Everwinter GT in December, then Christmas and New Year always tends to mess up the event schedule. But from January, expect Objective Zone to be live every Sunday, almost all Sunday, every single Sunday. So that's kind of the goal. So a special thanks to Gareth and the Nuge for jumping in so early on this. And I'm really looking forward to it because really excited to see how this game pans out. Because, I mean, that's such an interesting play, bunny hopping with the Vulture, moving here and then over there and then coming back. Quite interesting. He could have just moved into the center and screened off the... he could have already screened off the Crossbowman. It's kind of interesting that he didn't. He wants this Vulture to be deeper into the enemy lines. I'm not sure why. Maybe so then he can get the charge over here later. Quite interesting though. Yeah. Okay. Well, so now we're in combat. This is a Corpse Ripper Vulture at the top. As you can see, the Gut Rip is also electing not to charge. So both Kurt and Aaron, even though they've got 2 massive melee offensive units in the middle of the board, I guess they're just doing the Braveheart thing, lifting up a kilt, maybe screaming at each other. I don't know which one's William Wallace. I'm not really sure. But like they're just kind of screaming at each other from other sides of the battlefield right now and not necessarily fighting. I'm not sure. And we've got the priority roll coming up. We saw some of the crossbowmen lifted. We think we saw 5 or 6 of those crossbowmen lifted. Yeah, 3 of them gone. Oh, and the Hurricane is piling in. Absolutely love the Hurricane piling in. Come on. The Hurricane is a cart pulled by 2 horses, atop which is a scholar. And no offense to scholars. Like, they've been massively important in the development of the human race. And I'm sure also in the mortal realms. But not necessarily known for their martial prowess. Like, their martial brain, yes. And to make my point, we're having to look up the rules for what the Hurricaneum does right now. To avoid defeat, the Arcanum must eat. I mean, it didn't get a choice. It got locked into combat. It was just that really clever first turn super sneaky play from, or dirty tricks play from Aaron that's already produced this board state, which I thought was really interesting. At least when the stars align, they do good damage. I don't think that's true. I do not think that. I mean, he's going to have at least 4 horse attacks. So, I mean, and the Corpse Ripper Vulture's only got a 5-up save. Okay, apparently he's got 5 max damage. Oh, he's going to be taking the Hobgrots. Okay, smart play. He's gone for the Hobgrots. And there's only a Hobgrot left, which does mean currently that he gets outscored. So 5 here. This is 2. Oh, okay. The first attack was the Hobgrots. The Vulture's still attacking. The Vulture 100% has to kill this 5 crossbowmen that are left. Otherwise, it's game over. Otherwise, it's game over. Well, not game over. Not actually game over. Calm down. No one leave. It's not game over. But he don't score some points, which is kind of... and then and is he splitting the attacks? Amazing. He's very confident about what he's going to be able to do. Okay, so he's doing the Corpse Ripper Vulture into the... I don't know how everyone feels about this chat. Like, how do we feel about the Corpse Ripper Vulture splitting his attacks? Good. I'm going to say. Corpse Ripper Vulture is one of those... Okay, all right. The Vulture did it. The Vulture's got 5 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1 damage 2, and was able to lift all of the crossbowmen. He's got a Stinger with only 1 attack. But then the Jagged Boss, 4 more attacks. We haven't seen any of those. Oh, we've seen some wounds put on the Hurricanum immediately. Okay, so I also think that this means that 4 damage taken by the Hurricanum. There's 1 Hobgrot left. He's gonna need to see if he can CP it. He's to CP it. Otherwise, he's not going to hold this objective because he didn't hold it in the previous turn. Oh no, he deployed on it, so he's fine. He should be holding it, pretty certain. Because this is not only is this a proving ground, this is also the only active objective, and it's the proving ground. So you can only be able to score it with the battle line units at the moment. That's the thing to be conscious of. Yep. So Aaron maintains control. We have the priority roll. The Incarnate rolled, didn't go down a level. The Incarnate is fine, ladies and gentlemen. The Incarnate's fine, so he's still at level 2. And then, did we have a priority roll? Okay, all right. And then, just could we keep like the score also for Aaron? There was he scored 2? No, yeah, 2. And then he achieved his battle tactics. That's 4 points for Aaron. Okay. Chat, the priority roll has been rolled. If you're a Cruel Boys fan, it's time to break out the beers. It's time to start clinking some cans because Cruel Boys have won the priority. They've got another shot at bringing the Incarnate down a level. They've got all the opportunity to do the things that they want to do. I'm not sure what that is. I assume it's deal with this Incarnate if they can in the center. But that means this back objective, and Aaron has taken the turn. I feel that that's right. Which means this back objective, I think, has become the active one. But I'll just get that confirmed. Which makes these 2 objectives active. So now, and this Corpse Ripper, oh, very interesting. Okay, currently, I think they're discussing who's got the turn. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Chat who you're rooting for and where you're tuning in from. That's what I'd like to know. Has anyone played any Age of Sigmar today? I know I saw Owen in the chat earlier. He went 4-1 with Rain and Stance. That's 9-1 for him and Rain and Stance over the past weekend. We know from the rest of the events around the world at the minute, we know that Trogs went 5-0 in southern England this weekend. We also know that Nurgle List won the War in the Heartlands, which has been England's largest Age of Sigmar event, I think, since post-COVID. So, like 120-ish players. So, yeah, that's been pretty good. Okay, so we just heard Aaron. Aaron took the turn, and then he heroically healed on the Sludge Raker. And then he activated. So then Kurt has activated his home objective. at the top. Perfect. Perfect. So we have got a Cruel Boys turn 2, top of turn 2, two objectives active, definitely. Top objective, and then this side objective. Oh, and Ravanax Gnashing Jaws was just unbound. That's actually really excellent. That's very necessary, because that was probably going to deal with this unit here, maybe even start threatening this other unit of Iron Breakers at the back of the board. So that would have really hurt Kurt's ability to have board control. So that's good that he's done that. Yes, Tristan in the chat, hello. Sharon Malkin is tuning in all the way from Israel. Wow. Rooting for the Bolt Boys all the way. So let Aaron know he's got an Israeli fan. Okay, so we just heard that the War Scroll spell for the Shaman, so the Shaman here and the Shaman here, was failed to cast, which is +1 to charge, -1 for your enemy to charge. Quite a nice spell. It's very subtle. A lot of units have, well, not a lot of units, some units have like an innate in +1 to charge. It's stronger than you think. Failing a 3-inch charge, even on a reroll, is pretty devastating in some games. That +1 to charge is very important. So then reducing charge down by 1 board wide is pretty great spell, but very situational in some ways. Okay, so Sneaky Miasma failed to go off as well. So this is the new ability. So these are the shamans who are able to cast their War Scroll spell, or cast spells as well as be able to poison units, and none of those spells have been cast this turn. So it's not been that effective. Era phase casting. Now we're on to movement. Fast phases. Can I just say that I'm very, very impressed with the speed of Kurt and Aaron. Very complementary to this meta. Very similar to when I saw the Swedish meta as well. Maybe I'm just very used to, maybe I'm just used to English games. England's a little bit slower on the uptick in these games. Not sure why it's so fast in other places, or why. Our table boss throwing some shade. Generally saying the English people are slow anyway. He's Welsh. So, throwing it out there. We've seen the Sludge Raker move from here and move up onto this piece of terrain. So they're moving up. So that's our Sludge Raker. So it's Sludge Raker's slaps. That's very interesting. A lot of output from these Sludge Rakers when they get into combat. But again, very much like the tale as old as time with Cruel Boys, not necessarily very competent about surviving. I love what Aaron's doing here. He's still making these movements with his big block of 30 Gut Rippers. Don't forget, this is a garrison, so he can't move over it or around it. He can move around it, but he can't move onto it. So he's very much pinned in there. So he's got to be very conscious of that, staying 3 inches outside of this Incarnate, making sure he gives himself range. He has to bring a lot of output now into the Incarnate. He has to drop it a level this turn. Because now you potentially have got 2 turns from this Incarnate, and he could potentially take out these Gut Rippers. And in the in the wrong situation, he could take out enough that he could pile in maybe into this monster that is at the back of the board, which is the Sludge Raker. He's just got to be really aware of that, in my opinion. We're seeing a redeploy being issued now, so that's our unit of Iron Breakers at the back. I think we're probably going to see them move further away. He's not going to want that charge from the Gut Rippers. So roll a 3, so he's moving out there. Oh, a 2. Okay, I mean that's actually running speed for a dwarf. A speed of 2. If he'd have rolled a 4, they'd have actually run and had to do a jump at the same time. That's the movement of dwarfs. Very slow, unfortunately, for dwarven folk and kind. Yeah, good. The board's looking good. How are you feeling about the game so far, Gareth? What are you thinking so far?
It's pretty interesting. I mean, they're not armies that you see very often, so.
And now I know you were telling us earlier that you've been watching some of the Undergut Iron Blasters games. They've been on the tables previously, and there are 2 undefeated going into round 4, and they're paired into each other. What have been your thoughts about that list so far?
It's a crazy list. That looks just absolutely insane. Those Noblars are just silly. I saw it.
Yeah.
We had a mirror match ogres yesterday where a Stonehorn went into is the opponent's ogre list. During the movement phase, he moved within 6 inches of Noblars, took 3 mortal wounds. He charged, he took 3 mortal wounds. He then did his heroic flying thing. With his flying, he did 12 mortal wounds because he flew over everything, but landed within 6 of Noblars and took another 3 mortal wounds himself. He then piled in and took 3 mortal wounds. So Noblars did 12 mortal wounds to a Stonehorning in your own phase, which is crazy.
It's beautiful, is what it is. Long live the Noblar menace. That's what I say.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks. I can't wait to hear more about that in a bit. I very much appreciate you, Gareth. Just a special shout out to Kenny in the chat. Thanks for donating 500 bits to the show. He says, thanks for streaming another awesome event. I couldn't do it without the TOs. So a special thank out to the Nuge and Gareth. All right. So we're past movement. What's off the board? 2 Hurricanums and a Celestant Prime still off the board. So it does look very much like the board presence is very strong now for the Cruel Boys, but there's several hundred points off the board for Living City. So yeah, don't be too disheartened. If you're there for the mortal man of the realm or the dwarf or elf, they've still got some life. Oh wow, it's 1,500 bits. Wow, Kenny. Thank you. That's crazy. Thanks, Kenny. That's insane. Thanks, bud. And thanks, chat, for being here. So we're into the shooting phase now. Just to keep you updated what's moved. 30 Gut Rippers in the center. Bolt Boys, Sludge Raker. Another unit of Bolt Boys back here. Another unit of Gut Rippers on this left-hand objective. So Gut Rippers in the center. Bolt Boys on the left and middle. There's a big Sludge Raker in the center as well. Got the Corpse Ripper Vulture at the top. Cronspine in the middle taking some shots. We don't know how many wounds he's taken so far, but no, 13 wounds taken. You would want to max out 18. Oh, wow. The Gut Rippers have failed the charge. There's a unit here in cover. There's a unit of 3 Iron Breakers. I think what he's looking to do is charge around, get into that unit. Okay, so he rolled a 6. He managed to get into the Iron Breakers at the top, but he's okay for now. He feels like that's enough. He doesn't want it. I think he wanted to get to the back of the board. That was the main mission. He was looking at a re-roll, get to the back, but he's got far enough up. He's basically just trying to dominate the middle of the board, I think, to push out those deep strikes when they do come in. Yeah, so this objective is active. So I think so he wanted to get enough bodies on here to try and grab it. So he's going to need to move and then pile in an additional 3, but he's not going to outscore 10, especially because those units are unmatched conquerors. They're actually 30, so it's not going to do enough for them at all. Expert conquerors. What did I say? Oh, unmatched conquerors. That's not them. There's someone else. My favorite thing I think about the Tzeentch Battle Tome is that it also has an ability called Master of Magic, which is yes, really fun. Yeah, come on, you greasy goblins. That's what Tristan's saying in the chat. Let me know all who you're rooting for. A Hurricanum still locked in combat with a Corpse Ripper Vulture. Oh, he's going in. He's gone into the... I feel that that's the right decision. I feel like he got lucky with that he didn't get charged. I mean, then he got unlucky that he didn't do the mortal wounds into this Cronspine Incarnate. So in the first turn, Kurt moved the Cronspine to where it is now, elected not to charge into the 30 Gut Rippers. That meant that the Bolt Boys were able to shoot back, and they only did 5 mortal wounds, which obviously then healed after the priority roll. So this Cronspine Incarnate is currently taken 13 mortal wounds. So he took 13 in. So not enough to kill it outright, and he has to drop it a level. So at this point, he's going to have to trade probably the whole Gut Ripper unit for this Cronspine, which he's just kind of lucky Kurt didn't give him in the first turn. But it's... Oh, so the Vulture has roared the Hurricanum, so no all-out defense for the Hurricanum. And the Cronspine stomped and killed 3 mortals. So this is going to be fairly devastating. The Cronspine has got Rend 2 and Rend 3 attacks. The Gut Rippers, I think, have got no more than a 5-up save. I don't think we've had a Mystic Shield cast on them. So they're going to have no save against that output there. But they do have 57 wounds now after the stomp. So they're definitely going to do the mortal wounds needed, because there's only 5 wounds left on this Crunchspine Incarnate. So we've got 11 guys into them. Don't forget they're going to be doing mortal wounds on 6s, potentially 5s, but I think it's probably going to be 6s, because the Shaman here was buffing the Bolt Boys. He would have absolutely loved to have just done the 18 damage with the Bolt Boys, maybe even 17, and then just absolutely avoided this charge at all, because now he's just trading down. This is actually really tough, Aaron. Not that he's in a bad spot, but he had the opportunity to go up here, because in the next turn the Crunchspine would have charged in to the Gut Rippers. Would have taken out half of that unit, but I think now it's going to take out most of that unit and make it so. Oh, so he only rolled 2 6s. I mean, the real worry is that he doesn't do anything at all. It's -1 to be wounded, and he's got a Mystic Shield on it, all from spells that were casting it earlier. 3 saves, no rend, so 3 up armor save. There's the opportunity here that he's only going to do. So he's taken an additional 2 more wounds? 17. Okay. So he's definitely well, I mean, he's probably going down a level. I mean, come on, for the stream, I want it to be an 18. Right, that's just what we want, chat. Okay, so the Sludge Raker was in range to give the mortals on the extra 6s, so that's what we did. 6s in that situation equal 2 mortal wounds. And then those 3 lowly iron breakers, they can break iron, but not venom. They need new armor. They need to go and buy different armor, I think. So now what does the Crunchspine do back? Chat, how much damage do you think the Crunchspine's going to do back here? Potentially... Oh, Hurricanum first, of course, sorry. The Hurricanum first. We can't forget the powerful Hurricanum. Do we have any wounds on the Corpse Ripper yet? None. None so far. Yeah. Only 8 damage, apparently, being predicted into the Gut Rippers. Let's see. Pretty interesting. Almost no damage into the Corpse Ripper. Corpse Ripper's going to win this fight. Let's assume that the Gut Rippers and the Crunchspine fight each other out. Then the Hurricanums and the Prime that are left off the board need to come in, and they need to clear quite a lot. Sludge Raker, Gut Rippers, trust him. There we go. The Vulture took 2 damage, though. Can we just shout out that priest atop a Hurricanum? Go you. He's a priest. He's a priestly wizard. Is he a priest? Oh, okay, 3 6s. Uh-oh. Danger. Oh, it's dead. It's just absolutely dead. It's poisoned him off the board. So you can poison a battle cart. Who knew? No one expected that. The Incarnate roll. Oh, the attacks. Oof. Okay, he's now wild. Oh, wow. Not the priest, the horses. Okay. So yeah, he's wild because he was bonded to this Battle Mage on Hurricanum. Oh, dear. So, okay, so some of the models are on Mystical. So currently, though, the Hurricane, the Incarnate has done 12. The Incarnate, sorry, has done 12 damage. Okay, so that's on top of the 3 from earlier. So currently 15 damage been done. And another 4. Okay. So I think that means he's done 18 damage to that unit of Gut Rippers, which is half the unit. Not half the unit, in fact, it's only a third. There's 60 wounds in that unit, so they might... and he did go down a level. Aaron might be okay here. Aaron might... Oh! Well, okay. That's really changed the shape of the game. No problem. It did turn out that in the first round, it had already gone down a level, unbeknownst to us. So, apologies, chat, for not knowing that. Pretty huge. That's actually, I mean, no one hates to see the Incarnate die, but that just changed the shape of the game pretty significantly and makes Aaron's decision to charge in even more sensible. So the Incarnate in the middle was already level 1, is now dead. Apologies, chat, for not getting that right. Loads of love to everyone. But yeah, the gone down. It's dead. It's off the board. So that's huge for Cruel Boys. That's really, really, yeah, much more sense. Yes, it does make much more sense. I was going to say, because if he lost the same amount of models again in the next turn, then it was going to be a real tough play. But so that's pretty huge. Kurt in turn 2 has lost his general, which was a Celestial Hurricane on Battle Mage here, and he lost the Incarnate in the middle. So, yeah, that's okay. So we just heard that we got 3 more points for Aaron scored there. Thank you to Frank for subscribing in the chat, and thanks for everyone who's joined us live and is subscribing right now. Very much appreciated. Okay. we have heard that one of the Iron Blasters match might already be over. So that's round 4 going on, because this is not the only event, the only table that's happening right now. At the Smalltown Throwdown, we've got 40 players. We've got 20 tables. We've got some pretty big names at the event. But yes, in the undefeated bracket, everyone is interested right now. Just get this for everyone. In the undefeated bracket, we do have Tom Guan, the legendary Tom Guan, up against. He should be up against Shane Lambert, I think. Oh no, he's up against Samuel Valdez with his. So the Ogre Mirror that's happening. So Sam versus Tom. It sounds like Tom may have won that. And then you got Shane with his Disciples of Zinch playing against Gregory. So we're going to have Ogre More Tribes, brand new book, up against either Disciples of Zinch or Bloodtooths at the minute in round 5. It'll be neither of the 2 players that we're seeing, but we're just seeing a fun match right here. Yeah, Tom Guan. Yeah, exactly. 7-2 is great. Is right. You've scored 4 in the first round, and then we're just looking at the overlay. Yeah, 7-2 is perfect. Yeah, absolutely right. That's the current score. 7 to Aaron. Aaron also massively up on board position right now. I think that's something we have to be very conscious of. He's got a 5-point lead, and he's already 900 points up. Kurt lost some of his massive pieces, the Incarnate and also the Battle Mage on Hurricanum right now. So Aaron's doing a dominant game here. I would say it looks all over, but I don't know what the Prime's going to do. He did get the double. Aaron got the double. But it's looking very, very positive for Aaron right now. Chat, I don't know if you think anything different. Yeah, we've now got the... Okay, we're just working out whether or not we can bring these Hurricanums down in this bottom left-hand corner. The current active objectives, because we're playing Prize of Galette, are these 2 objectives. The one at the top, which is secured by a unit of Iron Breakers, and the one on the far right, which does belong to the Cruel Boys right now. The Cruel Boys on the right. Sam does not have a dad bod. He's too thin. Interesting. There's a Prime off the board. There's a Prime, and there's 2 Hurricanums currently off the board. So, pretty good so far. Yeah. Oh, I'm really hoping we get Zinch versus Ogres. That would be an interesting match. And by interesting, it'll be over by turn 2. I think Iron Jaws might be in a better position. So we're past the hero phase already for Living City. Their battle tactic that they chose was an eye for an eye. Perfect, thank you. So yeah, eye for an eye have been chosen, so they're going to need to kill an opposing unit. They're going to do that with. They've got a fairly fragile back line. On a double, you could see some pretty hefty damage put in. So we're just hearing that it might. Now, yeah, we've got 2 Hurricanums and a Celestant Prime off the board. The problem that Kurt's facing is against Grinning Blades Kruleboyz. So you can't see them outside and target them outside of 12 inches. And what Aaron's done a good job of here, as you can see, he's created a lot of board space. So the Living Cities army, they have outflank effectively as a battle trait. And that means that they can deep strike, but it has to be within 6 inches of board edge. Okay, so that's already here, and as you can see, and then they still have to be 9 inches away. So they're in a tough spot because being 9 inches away from most of this, as you can see around here, is going to be very difficult to achieve, even back here. So he's going to be in a really tough spot wherever he decides to bring his units on, and it has to be in this kind of like anywhere outside this kind of central part, so somewhere around the top here. That's going to be really challenging, in my opinion. And I think that's why we saw that early game move from that Vulture. Honestly, that's super sneaky in the Vulture. It's done some really interesting work and has really kind of opened up the board for Aaron. And Aaron hasn't been slow. He's been progressing with that unit of Kruleboyz and and Gut Rippers from very early. Has been pushing up to the back. Kurt, as you can see, is just dropping that unit of Expert Conquerors, not unmatched, thanks Gareth, at the top. Grabbing that bit of terrain. So he's hugging that. So he's like, this is my objective. Trying to keep as far away from this unit of terrifying Gut Rippers as possible. And they're also out of range of the Bolt Boys, even if they move. Okay, lovely. Love to hear that. Aaron has really screened the board really well. He has. He's done a fantastic job. He's been with very fragile units as well. Like, you do get a lot of units. He has really like paced the board out. So Kurt's got some real options here. I'm very excited to see what Kurt does. Because Kurt's got the opportunity to do pretty significant damage if he could get to the Bolt Boys, which I don't think he can. Bolt Boys are here and here. If he was able to target them outside of 12 inches, then I would say wow, we just wow. Okay, we're just hearing some more power. Like, this is the first weekend that Ogres have been seeing play. The book only came out yesterday, and Ogres are in play at this event, and apparently they are insane. Is what we're hearing. So I'm looking forward to potentially seeing them in round 5. We'll definitely see them in round 5. Hopefully, we'll get some sort of indication of what they look like on the tabletop. But personally, very excited to see that happen. Very excited. But there's still lots to play here. Right, we have got the Hurricanum coming in. Bottom right-hand corner. Are we going to see the second Hurricanum in as well? That means our table boss, Gareth, was guessing at all the shots into the Corpse Ripper Vulture, reducing some of that mobility down. Quite interesting, and that might be what we see. You would have loved to have got these units. Loved to have got the Bolt Boys. But that Grin and Blades ability coming in, very useful. Very useful. You can also do that in the new Ogres, obviously with Winter Bite, being able to not be targeted outside of 12 inches. I don't think that's anything that we're really necessarily going to see from the Ogre book, but there's a potential to do that as well. It's going to be interesting to see what armies like this do in Slaves to Darkness. Actually, I think with the increase in Slaves to Darkness armies, I feel like the Kruleboyz actually get better. Oh, that's very lovely. We're just hearing right now that Aaron is being really nice and telling Kurt that he's got a spell, Nasty Hex, that can remove the ward on a Prime. Prime's only got 8 wounds, but he's got 3 up armor save and a 4 up ward, so he's very, very tanky. But if you remove the ward, he just falls apart, especially into an army with mortal wounds like you get from the Kruleboyz army. So Aaron just reminding Kurt that he's got that. That's very, very good sportsmanship. Let's go. Get some love for Aaron in the chat if you don't mind, please. That would be so good. Oh, so we're hearing Kurt may actually target the Shaman who's got it. Interesting. Thanks, Retisanti, for subscribing in the chat. Loads of love. I'm assembling my Ogro Therodons right now. Magnetizer marks on banners. Ooh, that was really fun. That's good. I got double early in good position. Could only his balances. Wait, are we getting? Wait, is Sam in the chat? Is Killyman Sam in the chat who was playing against Tom? Is that how fast this game was over? That he's in the chat. That's amazing. Okay, we've seen the other Hurricanum drop at the bottom of the board. Yeah, great sportsmanship from Aaron. Love to see it. Love to see it. And the Prime. I gotta say, Kurt's got some big precision. Oh, you stayed home for day 2. Oh, okay. Killing me Smalls. Okay, perfect. Green and Blades perform well, or are they rock, paper, scissors choice? Eric, they are good into this matchup. You can't deny that, what we're seeing from the board state. But, like we talked about earlier, if you do look at the stats right now for Cruel Boys, and obviously a lot of this data has come in pre the new Battle Scroll update with the balance patch. The Grin and Blades is the most chosen sub-faction at 60%, but it's actually the worst performing with only a 36% win rate. Maybe that changes. Maybe that changes. Okay, so the Hurricanum is down. Hurricanum down, Prime down, Hurricanum at the bottom. This Hurricanum at the top has shot into the Corpse Ripper Vulture and has done 7 mortal wounds straight away. It's got 3 shots, and it does mortal wounds with those shots. Winterbite could be an Ogre Mirror counter list. That's a great shout, Cabbage. That is not a great... That's a pretty cool idea. Okay, we just heard we got 4... So we only did 4 mortal wounds into the Shaman. He's going to be really disappointed by that. Kurt now needs every bit of mortal wound output that he can get from all of his units. Well, he needs all of the output he can get from all of his units right now because he just absolutely needs the output to come out. And then where's he going to drop the Scepter? Now, the good thing about the damage that you get from the Celestin Prime is it 24-inch range, and you do not need... Oh, wow. So the Celestin Prime also did a mortal wounds into the Vulture, only did 1 damage, and as you can see, he's done the charge. I know what you're asking yourself, Rob. This Hurricanum at the bottom hasn't charged. Why has it moved? Because we're playing with Living City, there's a command ability that after a unit is shot, it's going to be able to move. So you can only obviously do that once, and he's done that on this Celestin. On this Hurricanum right here. So that's how it's moved. And then the Celestin Prime is attacking into the Corpse Ripper Vulture. Okay, and he's dead. It's very dead. There's no way it survives. It's -3 rend. Yeah, he's so dead. Yeah, he's been lifted off the board from the fighting. There we go. So, okay. So he's got this objective. He's got this objective. Gonna get 5 that turn. Okay, so he's pulled it back 7-7. Eye for an eye, which was his battle tactic. Kill an enemy unit. He's got that. And then we go into the priority roll. It'll be interesting. Priority roll between the 2 players now. Board state 7-7. Okay, 2 Hurricanums on the board. The Prime. There's a unit of Iron Breakers at the back here. That's it. Kurt has won the priority though. If you're a fan of Living Cities, of course he's taking it. He's got to. Aaron's activated the center objective, so these 3 objectives are active. Living City just won the priority going into turn 3. This game is back and forth like you wouldn't believe. This is very interesting. No proving ground being called. So now all that's left is this unit of Iron Breakers, the Prime, and these Hurricanums. These Hurricanums got to do a lot of work right now. Both generals are dead because that was the Corpse Ripper Vulture and the Hurricanum. So this is going to be, this could be a big swing. I mean, still, you're asking a lot from Kurt's army. He's asking to do a lot of output. He's going to need... Doesn't do the output. Just do the output with the Prime. The Prime at maximum has got 6 attacks. No, 5 attacks. So he's potentially doing 15 damage. there are still 40 wounds left in that unit of Gut Rippers in the center. And then there's 2 units of 6 Bolt Boys and a Sludge Raker. Honestly, Cities of Sigmar are in a really tough position here. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, plus his mortal wound attack, sure. He's got, yeah, I mean, if you put both of the Hurricanums in fact, actually, this Hurricanum has got a 10-inch move, but then it still has to get within 12 inches of that unit of Bolt Boys to be able to shoot. And if Aaron's clever about it, what he's going to do is when those Hurricanums move, it's then going to redeploy away so they're outside of 12 inches, so he's not going to be able to bring that shooting into effect. So I think he's not going to try and push that around there. That Cool Boys General going down is big. That's a lot of CP not going into rally. That's a good point, Cabbage. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I mean, he did lose. Did we see Finest Hour call on the Shaman? Is that what we just heard? Oh, gaining momentum. So, battle tactic that's been chosen by Living Cities. Thanks again, by the way. Is gaining momentum. So he's looking to kill a unit. And also hold more objectives. And do you know what? Kurt's in a great position to win the priority role here. He owns his top objective with Expert Conquerors, Ironbreakers at the top. He owns his right-hand objective, so he's actually not in a bad position. He's definitely gonna get 3 points. 3 points for the primary, and then he gets a battle tactic. He gets another 5, so he at least gets to go 5 points up, taking him to 12. But his problem is he's probably board presence. This is the middle objective that's active. Chat, tell me, what do you think? Tell me what you think. I think this goes Cruel Boy's way. Just from that very aggressive early turn, that double going 1 into 2. Just so effective for him. But Kurt, is Kurt on the ropes? I don't know if his last name is said as Roper. I don't know if that's correct, but that's a funny joke, I think. It's currently 55-45 in Cruel Boy's favor. Interesting. Gareth, I'm just going to jump over to you for a second for some to ask you. Loads of other matches hanging out. What's the venue like where we're currently playing?
The venue's very nice. It's a huge fitness and leisure complex. So we've got swimming pools and volleyball courts and tennis courts all around us. It's under a little bit of construction, but it's very pleasant. Yeah.
Excellent. And what's the venue food like? Everyone always, because lunch coming up for you guys soon. How's that looking?
There's a cafe on site that has sandwiches, but there are lots of other places within driving distance.
Okay.
It's California, so cars,
Okay, yeah,
how we roll.
Love that. What's it like being a Welshman over in the US? How does everyone adapt to your accent? Not that you have one, but still.
My wife says I don't have an accent, but I think most Americans do think I have an accent. I've been here 20 years now, so almost half of my life has been in the US, so I'm not quite sure whether I'm Welsh or American, but I'm Welsh. It's fine. I was up all night watching the cricket last night, so great.
That means you're very British, at least. Like, that's definitely true. All right, well, lovely. Yeah. Thank you very much. What were you going to say? Sorry?
And the rugby.
Oh, and the rugby. All right, well, yeah, then definitely.
Yeah.
Right, lovely. Thank you. Gareth's great. He's very active in the Age of Sigmar community. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Okay, so just getting back to the game. If you have just tuned in live, in the hand dryer situation, we'll try and get an update on that in a minute. We're in turn 3, so this is the top of turn 3. First turn, the choice to have the first turn was taken by the Cruel Boys and Aaron. He gave the turn away to Kurt. He then was very clever first turn play. Made this objective, the active objective, and the proving ground. He then used his dirty tricks to take a unit of infantry, so a unit of in fact, actually, this unit of Ironbreakers that's here, and then he made them go off the board. That meant that Kurt couldn't go and grab this objective on the first turn, and there was also a unit of Hobgrots holding this objective. Then we had the Kronsmine Incarnate move down here and elect not to charge into 30 Gut Rippers. We had a Hurricane. we had the Celestin Prime move, not Celestin Prime, sorry, the Hurricane and Battle Mage on Hurricane and move this top objective. And then what he did was just hold on to that, but he wasn't able to grab this objective because, of course, he's not a Galician veteran. Then in Aaron's first turn, that means he netted himself 2 points on the first turn. In Aaron's first turn, what he was able to do was drop the Incarnate a level with the shooting coming from the Bolt Boys, move up his unit of Gut Rippers, take his Corpse Ripper Vulture, move up the top, kill a unit of Crossbowmen that had deep struck in the first turn, and take them out, and then get into a fight with the Hurricaneum as well as the Crossbowmen, which was quite nice. Clever little play. Won the priority roll, killed the Incarnate at the bottom. He also then killed the Battle Mage on Hurricaneum at the top here. So that's what he was able to do. So then he was able to kind of grab this part of the board, which was quite nice for him. Then in the following turn 2, the Hurricaneums came on, as we just saw a moment ago, as well as Celestin Prime, and take the Corpse Ripper Vulture off. There's a lot of resources for a 220-point Corpse Ripper Vulture. And then we got the priority into turn 3. So as we know, there's nothing off the board, but there's just lots and lots of Cruel Boys still on here. It's looking very, very good, personally, in my personal opinion, for the Cruel Boys. We've seen the Hurricane move down here. Apparently, it's been very, very cautious on not allowing any redeploy, so nothing's got within 3 inches of these Gut Rippers. So we've been shooting into the Shaman here from this Hurricane. I think this Hurricane won't be able to shoot because you can't see outside 12 inches. Quite interesting. Okay, so we're now seeing the Hurricane shooting into the Bolt Boys. Oh, and he's rolled pretty low. That's pretty sad. So he did 3d3 mortal wounds, and I think we just saw 2 die. Okay, so 2 more from the other Hurricanum. I get him outside of 12 inches. First turn. Oh, the Celestin Prime. Okay, so it was the Celestin Prime that was able to take out a few more of these here. And then this other Hurricanum is shooting the Gut Rippers, and it killed 2. So in total, 3, thank you. We killed the Shaman at the bottom. We killed 3 of our Bolt Boys here from the shooting, and then we killed 2 Gut Rippers. Then I'm almost certain, I think we're almost certain we're going to see this Celestin Prime at the right here go over into this unit of Gut Rippers, but this is very interesting. I feel like the balance is so key. Whatever happens in the next turn, we're 100% going to be getting a Cruel Boys turn. So they've got the opportunity to swing back pretty massively. They're in a good position. Corpse Ripper Vulture is a bit of a tautology, isn't it? What Vulture does rip corpses. I think it's just descriptive at the end of the day. Like, someone has to rip the corpses, and it might as well be the Corpse Ripper, right? And now this, so again, they're just measuring. So the reason we saw a bit of terrain moved, that terrain is a garrison. You cannot land or end a move on top of a garrison. So he's going to need a very, very long charge. So he's got the shooting phase move. So he shot with a unit, and now he's going to get to move its full move. So actually some really interesting plays on where he can put the Celestin Prime. Wherever he goes, he's in a bad spot. The Sludge Raker can fight him back pretty well. Maybe even kill him. I, in fact, very recently at an event myself, put a Celestin Prime into a Sludge Raker. And foolishly was like, don't worry, I'll activate somewhere else first. And the Sludge Raker almost killed him in a turn down to a wound. Sludge Raker can do an amazing amount of water. So he's going to move with, and see, really thinking about this. This is toughy. Yeah, Kurt's in a tough spot here. Can he get himself out of it? That's the real question. So he's looking to move 12 and then get in. Because whatever he does, if he does charge in, if he does go into the Bolt Boys, or even the Sludge Raker, he's going to take a stand and shoot from the Bolt Boys in addition to the damage he's going to take. Yeah. Like, needs to kill the Bolt Boys. I agree. does, because those Bolt Boys are going to keep threatening these Hurricanums. The unit of Gut Rippers here may well go fight the Prime at the bottom, and he is splitting the force quite nicely, but they definitely want to go up to the top of the board and grab that unit of Iron Breakers, so then he can control the board. Or he needs to go this way. So actually, what Kurt's done is he's given him loads of options on where he wants to take that unit of Gut Rippers here. And if he does decide to go south, or to the bottom of the board, then he's not going towards any of the objectives. So yeah, this is tough. This is very tough. He would have liked to have got more mortal wound output. I'm pretty certain. Oh, okay, and we have seen the Prime go in. Gone into both units. Okay. Interesting. And so then the Cruel Boys have activated their Scare Shield. Oh, amazing. So Cruel Boys have got a Scare Shield, and they roll against the Bravery. Unleash Hell into the Prime. The Prime has taken 4 mortal wounds. He's got a 4-up ward save against those. He took 3, so he's already down to 5 wounds. Oh my goodness. This is a toughie. This is a toughie. He's not in an okay spot here. You've got this, Kurt. Come on. Kurt's got some real decisions to make here. Sunstone Prime gets more attacks. He's got Galmaraz. He's got Sigmar's Golden Hammer. So he's taken all the shots into the Bolt Boys and then 2 into the Gut Rippers. Okay. Bolt Boys are dead. And then the Gut Rippers have taken another 6 damage. Such a wound tank. I feel I can see why Aaron has taken a unit of 30 Gut Rippers. They can just take all of the punch. They can just take they could just take a lot of wounds. And I mean, there's no avoiding it. They're just going to take output into them. And so now, because he's just like, I've got 60 wounds, so yes, sure, you're going to kill loads of them, but eventually I'm going to have enough to do something back. The Prime now has only got 5 wounds left on a 3-up armor and a 4-up ward. And then he's got all the Cruel Boys are about to fight back now into him. So all of the Gut Rippers. 2 attacks apiece on the Gut Rippers. They're near the Sludge Raker, so any 6s to hit are going to do 2 mortal wounds into the Celestin Prime with their venom-encrusted weapons. I'm not really sure what inside of a Gut Ripper, not a Gut Ripper, Celestin Prime is even worth poisoning. Something. Probably his attitude. That's what they're poisoning. Damn attitude. Just running around auto-charging into things. Who knows? Could be any of those things. 13. That's going to be 26 attacks. He should do 6 mortal wounds just off basic numbers. Oh my goodness. The Prime dies here. I think the Prime dies and it's just KO for the game. But this is pretty exciting. Kurt has used all-out defense. It's true. Why not? Why not? The Cruel Boys just... Oh, wow. Could roll badly on the 6s. He's rolled terribly all day on the 6s. Okay, he's only rolled 3 6s right now. But that is going to be 6 mortal wounds straight off the bat. All-out defense means he's going to be on a 2-up armor save. Cruel Boys have got Rem 1. So he's got 11 saves on top of the 6 mortal wounds he took. So he's taken 2, so he's got 8 ward saves. So he shouldn't die right now. He's got 5 wounds left, so he should survive on a wound. That was a good wound roll. Wound rolls. Ward rolls. I mean, one at a time. Oh, he's good. Failed 3. He's got 2 wounds left. 2 wounds left. But he does have a unit of Bolt Boys, a Sludge Raker, and these Gut Rippers to go the turn after. Inspiring Presence has been used for a CP by Aaron with his Cruel Boys. In here, they have auto-passed Battle Shark. That has been 5 points got for Kurt, 12-7, going into the bottom of turn 3, and Aaron has got his turn. Now, Aaron controls the center objective already, but he doesn't control the top or the right-hand objective. So he's got some real options here, but I'm not sure what they are. He's got the Bolt Boys on the left, the Bolt Boys down here, a unit of Gut Rippers on the left-hand side, the Bolt Boys on the bottom left-hand side. In the center, he's got a Sludge Raker. There's a Prime in the middle with only 2 wounds left. Then there's a Hurricanum on the bottom left and a Hurricanum on the far right, neither of which have a Battle Mage on top. Yeah. Eye for an eye. Okay, Aaron's going for eye for an eye. I feel like that Sullustan Prime is about to get reforged. He might get double reforged, is how dead he might be, but we'll see. Like, I'm not sure that's... are there any lore experts in the chat? Can you be double reforged? Oh no, Ravanax Gnashing Jaws has been cast from the Shaman at the back of the board on a 6. No unbinds. There are no wizards to unbind. Yeah, there's none. I mean, Ravanax did an amazing job. Basically, delete first turn. Just absolutely excellent. Sneaky Miasma has been cast. That's a hero phase move. Oh, because I think he's going to try and push him into that Hurricanum in the bottom left-hand corner. Aaron just absolutely deadly. Really fast turns, really competent, and knows exactly what he wants to do. There was no hesitation in his turn. He just went straight into his turn. He spent his opponent's turn planning what he wanted to do. He had no worries. He was like, I know what my plans are already. Spell, move, off I go. Like, very quick. Like, very, very competent turns here. West Coast really proving what they're doing when it comes to Warhammer. I mean, like, you can talk about lists all day. This is one of those really important things. You can talk about wins, you can talk about other stuff, but you really get a sense of how competent players are, especially with their decision-making on the tabletop. There's no dithering, there's no referencing. No one's going and looking at books or very little other than when the Hurricane was in combat. Like, we're seeing just fast, competent play. Like, that's, to me, is an example of just very... Oh, the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws is moving. I think Ravanax is making a play over to that top. Yeah, I think there isn't a unit inside the garrison, so I think it's trying to get to that unit at the back of the board eventually. But yeah, fast and quick gaming means that these players know what they're doing. It's just fun. I'm really enjoying this. Oh, there we go. The Sludge Raker. The Sludge Raker is an outstanding combat monster. He's going to do some amazing work into that bottom left-hand corner. He's going to do some real competent stuff. Really looking forward to this. Poor Kurt. Not going his way, in my opinion. Chat. I know. I know we've got some Kurt lovers in the chat, but Kurt's in a tough spot here, in my personal opinion. Kurt's in a toughie. That means, if you would like to look at the list, by the way, lists are in the chat, so you can go check them out. Obligatory, you should subscribe to BC. Just because, so still. So we've seen the unit, we've seen the Shaman move up with this unit of Gut Rippers. The Bolt Boys are shooting into the Prime. Okay, can he survive? Only 6s are 2 mortal wounds. 4 mortals. He needs to pass 3 of these 4-up wards. So he's got the ward save. Dead. 8 damage taken. Oh, 8 damage taken. Now we've got the ward save. He's got 2 wounds left. He's dead. Like, that. It almost feels like Cruel Boys are designed to beat the Sullustan Prime, to be honest. Like, yeah. And we've still got charges to come in. This is just looking absolutely fantastic for Aaron here. Kurt has had a tough time. I think this was always a tough matchup for Kurt, FYI. I think that this was always going to be a toughie. Didn't have the mortal wound protection. All of his output was elite damage. And even though there's elite damage coming out of the Cruel Boys, they have a lot of wounds on the board. They have a lot. Yeah, this is a toughie. The Sludge Raker is also looking for charge, I think. Oh, so look and see whether or not he can. So the Gut Ripples have failed their charge, couldn't use the CP for the charge. Sludge Raker is in, grab this objective. Not grab this objective, he's grabbed this Hurricane in the bottom left-hand corner. The only things left on the board now, unless I'm wrong, the only thing left on the board right now, the Kurt is this Hurricane at the top, Hurricane at the bottom, and 30 Iron Breakers. So 10 Iron Breakers at the top there. Chat, what do we think? This is. So these Gut Rippers at the top, charging this garrison. What was in the garrison? Is there still some? Oh, there's a sword and board, lads. We forgot about them. Like Games Workshop, there's a unit of 3 Guild Guard with a sword and a shield and some dreams sitting in that. They were in the tavern. They were just having a couple of pints. They didn't know what was happening outside. Some Hurricaneums have charged. Okay, the Hurricaneum's already taken 2 wounds from a stomp from the monster. Those sword and board lads in there. They're on a 4-up armor save, -1 to hit. They're dead. 10 human lads, and then there's 10 scary orcs outside. This is literally the scene. Yeah, it's true. They are hitting on 5s. Like, it's not a done deal this turn, but eventually. This is like that town in the new Lord of the Rings series that you're like, maybe it'll survive. And it did not. Spoilers, survive. Apologies. So this is the combat at the top left-hand corner from the Gut Rippers. Lost 2 lads inside there. Oh, four dead out of the unit of 10. There are only 6 left. I don't think they're going to be firing back into the Hurricane at the bottom. Is going to attack the Sludge Raker. Didn't do well there. This has been a pretty thrilling game, all said and done. But it has felt like the Cruel Boys from the very first turn have been dominant in their output. And there's not been very much Kurt's been able to do in return. The Drake is doing all that attack, looking to do all of its mortal wound output if it can. This is in the bottom left-hand corner down here. The Sludge Raker fighting in. Sludge Raker is a really great combat monster, like very, very effective. Comes in quite cheap points-wise. Such boss on Sludge Raker is only 290 points for a wicked damage unit. Like what the Celestant Prime made up for in survivability, the Sludge Raker makes up for in output. The Hurricane, as you can see, is dead. It's been very interesting watching just how competent the output has been from this Cruel Boys army. I feel like in the wrong matchup, like let's say into Iron Jaws, it just falls apart pretty quickly because they can bring so much damage across the board so quickly. Oh, and a similar army, so like an alpha combat army or some long range shooting. Aaron's only lost this tournament so far has been against Idnith Deepkin, so that makes a lot of sense, just because they're very mobile and they'll be able to get into a lot of those positions. And it stops the shooting quite significantly. It's fun to see a Cruel Boys list that's not a big yellow. Aaron's got to be one of. Let me go see, actually, if I can go find out. One of the better Cruel Boys players all around the world. Actually, if we take a moment to look at the PSN stats, as you can see here, Aaron's actually the 8th best performing Cruel Boys player in the world at the moment. He's 4-1 at the event results that we've got tracked for him so far with Cruel Boys. I think he might have been playing big. He's been also playing in Big War as well. He's been playing this army in Big War, and okay, so we're just into priority now. We just got the score again. Aaron was able to grab this center objective and achieve his battle tactic, but he only got 3 points. Going into turn 4, Kurt has won the priority role. He has a unit of Iron Breakers at the top, a Hurricaneum on the right, and then we got a unit of Sword and Board guys. This does mean he will be able to... Oh, wait, if he takes the turn, then Aaron's going to choose a Proving Ground. Not a Proving Ground, an active objective. So he might not score 3 points, but he definitely could score 2 points. Hold this objective, hold this objective. That's 2. Hasn't currently done against the odds as a battle tactic, I'm pretty certain. Take a moment to look at that. Done against the odds? No, he hasn't done. Oh no, he has done against the odds. Oh no, Kurt hasn't. Kurt hasn't done against the odds. So he's got that in his pocket. So he could potentially put 4 points on the board here, take him 17 to 10. So while he's definitely going to lose the board state as the game goes on, he's going to be able to make the points difference very, very close. Very, very close. Not that that's going to change the shape of the game overly, but he is going to be in a good position. Yeah, Aaron's actually doing very well as a Cruel Boys player. The best performing Cruel Boys player that we have in the world at the moment is actually Kieran Bailey, who's based, I think, in the UK, and he's got 9 wins and 1 draw out of 2 events with his Cruel Boys. Bill Inglis is doing really well as well with his Cruel Boys. He's currently attended 6 events, 10 wins, a draw, and 19 losses. That's a tough score there. But yeah, I think all the Cruel Boys players right now are pushing a rock uphill. But as we can see, Aaron's doing it really well here. I think also you have to keep it. You have to keep your your opponent honest with the Cruel Boys army. They just have so much output that you have to be very, very conscious of how effective they're going to be at the moment. Kurt for Cities of Sigmar. It's interesting how Kurt's been doing. Cities of Sigmar as a player, I think Kurt's been doing pretty well so far all over. But it hasn't been to that many tournaments, no. Our top Cities of Sigmar player is Mike Wilding with a 17-1-12 record. And then Tom Guan, who's currently at the event, but with Ogre Moor Tribes, is our 3rd best performing Cities of Sigmar player. He's currently 12-3 from 15 games and 3 events. Yeah. All right, I think we're seeing a rally on the Gut Rippers. I think we've got 12 models missing. Okay, 3 Gut Rippers came back. Jaws, the Jaws have moved up here in the top left-hand corner, and they've killed 3 because they've hit the garrison. So there's I think there's only 3 or maybe even less than that, 3 left inside this garrison in the top left-hand corner. These Sword and Board guys, and this has all happened in Kurt's 4th turn. Kurt has chosen against the odds. So he's going to be able to score this objective and this objective. So he's going to be able to get 4 points for himself, which isn't bad, taking it 17-3. Just while we get the opportunity, Gareth, I'm going to jump over to you a sec. How is this event scored? Win, loss, draw? And what are the secondaries?
But then they've changed. Well, you could, but then it counts.
So was that a question for me?
Yeah.
So the way that we do this scoring is it's a custom points based thing. You get 500 points for a win, and then you get 3 points for scoring a battle tactic. You get 5 points for scoring your grand strategy. You get 3 points for denying your opponent's grand strategy, and 1 point for denying your opponent's battle tactic. And then you add up all your points, and whoever's got the most wins the tournament.
Fantastic. All right, lovely. Thanks very much. Okay, so it's all about achieving those battle tactics when you get the opportunity to do so. And if we just take a moment, even if
scoring battle tactics.
So even if you're losing your it's still worth trying to score battle tactics and deny battle tactics. As you can see, Kurt's on 3 battle tactics. He will get this one as well, so that'll be a 4th. He's just got that last 5th battle tactic that's going to be a challenge to achieve. Aaron has done against the odds, gaining momentum, an eye for an eye. He's still got Desecrate Their Lands, which I think he's definitely going to look for in the top left-hand corner here. He should be in an okay position to take that one. But yeah, it's been like it's very, very close on points. So Aaron can't take his foot off the gas here. He has to be very conscious that he scores as maximum points in his turn as possible and denies points to Kurt. So we're just seeing here now. We're seeing this unit. So there's our unit of sword and board guys. As you can see, they have positioned themselves outside of the garrison. So garrison rules are a little bit interesting the world over. A lot of TOs will have some FAQs on how garrisons do or don't work. But rules as written, what you can do is you can pile in and out of combat from garrisons. So even though your footprint is measured as being as inside the garrison, if the TO hasn't FAQ'd anything, then what's going to happen, as you can see now, is we are effectively retreating out of combat or getting out of the garrison outside of 6 inches. Sorry, within 6 inches and not wholly within 6 of the garrison, and then outside 3 inches of opposing units, obviously. So that unit of 3 sword and board guys have been able to retreat out of the objective, out of the garrison, and it's quite large, that 6-inch kind of movement, because you can get a little bit further than people expect. You can also garrison into combat as well, which is also some like big tricks that you're able to play in the right matchups. And then with that, he's been able to steal this objective. So he's been able to grab this objective here. And so that means he's going to control this objective, and this objective, which means he will score 3 points for hold more. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more, plus about 10. That's 5 points. That puts him on 18 to 10. That means Aaron, with only 2 turns left, is going to have to score a battle tactic and hold more on. This is actually, Kurt might have this. The points are very close. Yeah, the only thing you can't do is retreat into a garrison as anything replaces. This is actually wild. That play might have kept Kurt in the whole game. I don't know what his battle tactic is going to be. Yeah. No problem. No problem. Thank you. This has been a very interesting play, and the points are going to come down to the wire. Absolutely to the wire. If we take a moment to look at the secondaries, the grand strategy, we've got Show of Dominance has been chosen by Aaron. Show of Dominance is don't know which one it is. Don't know if anyone knows. I think it's kill all the battle line units. Yeah. Oh, our man in the field. Gareth has just taken a small break, so we can go over to the wonderful Tom Guan. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Rob. Garrett Thomas has been replaced by Thomas Guan, the same person.
Tom, how has you been playing with the new Underguts for Iron Blasters army this weekend? How's it gone?
It's very quick games. That build of the Underguts army doesn't leave for it's very punishing. Like
Yes.
You got the Oblar screens, you got the 4 Iron Blasters all shooting the cannonballs, and then you have the 12 Lead Belchers also shooting. And then you have a Stonehorn. Like there's a lot of pressure that's from shooting, melee, and then a lot of movement shenanigans with the Stonehorn monsters action. It's very wonderfully absurd, I would say.
Perfect. And you're going into the final on a 4-0 with that list, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I have played 2 Ogre Mirrors and survived both of them. So, and currently it looks like I might be facing Iron Jaws in the finals, which could be interesting.
That's what I've always thought about you. You're very ogre-like.
Yeah. Yes, that's what they That's what they say.
That's what they say. They say Tom Guan, very ogre-like. And then you might be either playing into Zinch or Iron Jaws.
Yeah.
Which of those two would you prefer to play?
Honestly, I'm pretty happy either way, because the Zinch, the Karos doesn't have no longer the sniping ability with losing Gift to Change, and then like just having range dominance and then having a Stonehorn that can go pick off random stragglers on Silk Steel Nessa is gonna be very powerful for me. I'm pretty happy either way, and then I believe I'm lower drop than both of them, so the Ogre Gunline the crazy thing is just like if you get a double with 4 Iron Blasters, it could very it's always like the thing 40k players that talk about when they like think like, oh, how could a game with double be balance. But usually it's fine in the AOS because there's not that much oppressive alphas. But this is pretty close. If you double someone with a four Iron Blaster Underguts list, it could feel very oppressive, especially the Stonehorns getting in there too.
Amazing, amazing. I'm actually
Yeah.
very, very excited to watch that match. This match itself has been really fun, and actually we're pretty close to the wire. I don't know if we've had when Gareth gets back, we'll get the overlay updated. I think we're still in Kurt's turn 4, although we might have flown in. Yeah, we are. So we've just seen a shoot and redeploy from the Hurricanum there. But right now the score is 13-10. And in Kurt's turn, he's going to score 5. He's got this left-hand objective. He's got the top objective, and he's got the right objectives, and he's doing against the odds. So he's going to be on 5 for 18-10. 18-10. Yes, and then so that means in Aaron's turn 4 and 5, he's got to score 10 points. Well, he's got to score 9 points, and then it's going to come down to grand strats. Cruel Boys have gone for show of dominance, so kill all the battle line units, which means he does have to go get that objective, that unit of Iron Breakers at the top left-hand corner. And then Age of Sigmar, they've gone for the mighty Beachhead.
Yes, controlling terrain, which is gonna be interesting how that plays out.
Yes.
But Garrett Thomas is back, so we'll put you back with the judge.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tom. Good luck in your final game. Amazing. I'm very much excited to see. I don't know if you all heard that, but do join us again. Currently, the time in the UK is 8:30, which means there's an hour. I think there's 30 minutes left on this round, ish, and then there's an hour lunch. So an hour and a half's time, and we'll be back with round 5 of the Smalltown Throwdown. So whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world, add 1.5 hours on, and that's when we're back for the next match. And then I can't wait to watch the Underguts Alpha. Could be really exciting. But before that, we're just in a very, very tight match because Aaron, while having fantastic board presence, may be losing on points. This is going to come down to the wire. It's going to be very interesting, especially when those Gut Rippers move. Can I just get an update from Gareth, if you don't mind? That piece of that garrison in the bottom right-hand corner, that big, lovely-looking hill, is there a unit nearby? Is there a shaman or something nearby belonging to the Cruel Boys player, or is there nothing there? The garrison, the building in the bottom right-hand corner with a red roof. The Sludge Raker. Okay, that's fine. Because I was going to say, because one of the only battle tactics left for Kurt, unless he dips into any book ones, is potentially to desecrate their lands. And the only thing I thought would be possible would to take this Hurricanum, maybe shoot into the Gut Rippers, and then move on to there. But if the Sludge Raker is guarding it, it's a monster. He's going to count as 5. Probably not going to be very likely to get that. Going to be very interesting. Game definitely slowed down right now because both players, I think, very conscious of how close this could be on points. Okay, so Aaron has decided to call Desecrate. That makes sense. He's got that over there. Oh, so he's chosen the pond in the middle. So he's going for Desecrate their lands. Very interesting. So Aaron's definitely going to get that. But Aaron has to clear up all of these objectives. He has to get this top one. Sludge Raker has to come around over here. And he needs to grab this objective. So he has to score more. And that unit at the top is unmatched not unmatched. Not that. Expert conquerors at the top. Okay, so there we can see Ravanax have killed those shield guys. They are. They did. They might have won him the game. Like, they could well have won him the game. That deploy out. We'll see. So a unit of Frigo Guard just died in this bottom left-hand corner. There we see this. Oh, so, ladies and gentlemen, we know what our final matchup is going to be. We just heard Greg Brewer has won his match against the Disciples of Zinch, boo, with his Iron Jaws army. So that means it's going to be Iron Jaws versus Ogres in the final. It's a destruction off, ladies and gentlemen. It's a destruction off. Our Gut Rippers unit is moved up to the top there, in the top left-hand corner. Our Sludge moved around, eyeing up this Hurricaneum. Our Gut Rippers are going to make their move up. They desperately going to want this charge in here. He's got the other unit of Gut Rippers just in case he can make the charge over here. Round 5 is not a battle of who has the smoothest brain. Stop it. Destruction players are not that. How dare you, chat? Leave them alone. Right, they're artists. I mean, Iron Jaws is probably actually very interested into the gunline ogre castle. I'm so excited to watch it. Like, if you could give me something to watch today, it would be that. So, what a day. What was the third active objective? The active objectives are this one, this one, this one, and this one. There's only one objective left to activate, but we haven't had the priority roll for turn 5 yet. So those are the current active objectives. That unit of Iron Breakers at the back of the board are in Expert Conquerors. So that means they're going to count as 30. I don't think all of them are holding the objective, but a significant portion of them are. Oh, wow. So the small unit of Gut Rippers here. The spell went off for +1 to charge, and their drum is off, and Bosh, they're in. This could be a tough time for those Iron Breakers. They've got a great armor save, but I don't think they're necessarily going to survive the mortal wounds if he spikes hard. Really wants to get the big unit in. That's what he wants to do. Okay, just check and see if the Scare Shield did anything there, but it didn't. Now it's the unit center. That's the key. Oh, Sludge Raker didn't charge at the bottom. Okay. All right, Kurt's got some opportunity here. Like, if he survives, if that unit at the top survives, then he's, like, in an okay position. He's got a unit of 10. That's a unit of 10 Gut Rippers at the top. Oh, boy. 10 Gut Rippers ready to rock. Okay, 21 attacks. He wants lots of 6s. And he hasn't had lots of 6s this game. So Aaron's just really hoping this works out for him right now. Only one mortal each. Again, Aaron needs to change dice. I don't think he's rolled a 6 there. 2. Aaron needs to change dice. Had a tough day with these 6s. Like, he's rolled poorly all day. Aaron's super happy about that. I think it's because he's using little dice. I think that's the answer. Or dead. Okay, so he's so that means he's got 6 on the objective, and that means he's going to count as 18. We'll outscore Aaron on that objective right now. None run away from Battle Shock. Aaron's got 16 objective. 18. So unless if the 18, 16. So if Kurt's got a CP, then he's in a safe spot. And that's if he doesn't kill any Cruel Boys back. Oh, Kurt has 0 CP. Ladies and gentlemen, drama. Well, dwarfs. Dwarfs should not run away. Yeah, that is just, they're doughty. They're 3-8. Ooh, they lost 4. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, they're going to fight back. Yeah. Ironbreaker's still got to fight back as well. This could be very close. This could be a game-swinging moment here for Kurt and Aaron. So these are going to be the fight backs. He's looking to do any damage he can to try and change the numbers around. But really, it's going to be that bravery roll on that unit at the top. Okay, 5. That's not bad. They've only got a 5-up save, those guys, so. Kill 2. Kill 2. So now Aaron's going to have to take a battle shot test as well. These are important rolls now. All about the battle shot test. He loses another 1. That's 3, so that he's down from 16, 13 on the objective. He lost 1 on 15. That's equal. Oh, Aaron got it. So yeah, he holds 3. He holds this one here, this one in the center, and this one at the back. So that's 5 points to Aaron. 10, 15, 18 going to the priority roll. Oh, Kurt won priority again. Age of Sigmar fans, Kurt won priority. Oh my god! So it's 18-15 currently to the score. Kurt, with only a Hurricanum and 5 Ironbreakers left to his name, has got to shoot this Sludge Raker, use the command ability from being in Living City to he's going to do Desecrate the Lands. He's going to try this back right piece of terrain. It's all about whether or not Aaron is able to get a redeploy to get that Sludge Raker within 3 inches of holding the terrain. Definitely going to go for Desecrate. This is what he's going to do. Then that would get him 2 points. That puts him on 20, which means the most that Kurt can do is get 5 points in his next turn. That's all he's going to be able to do. That means it's a draw unless you get onto onto secondaries, and then all Aaron has to do is kill that unit of Ironbreakers, which he definitely will be able to do at the top. Then he'll be 3 points up. So then it'll be 23-20 to Aaron. Oh, that has been a very exciting game. Like, Aaron will get his kill, his grand strategy definitely, but that redeploy will be pretty hot. But I mean, I think Kurt has played a blinding game considering he's been really down on resources from very early in the game. Aaron also, I mean, that Ravanax Dashing Jaws has been relentless. He's always been conscious of that. He's been pushing. Ever since turn 1, he was pushing up these Gut Rippers into the mid-board and then pushing them further up. Like, he was very, very aggressive with that. The Vulture play was really hot early on, moving into the top. That was quite interesting. Yeah, this has been a really, really great game. Yeah, both players have been playing some very interesting armies and providing us with some real good stuff. So thank you to both of these players. It's not over, though. Not over. I mean, the Cruel Boys, the boys at the Gut Rippers at the top could not kill the Ironbreakers. The Ironbreakers could kill them back. It's probably unlikely, but there we go. See what Kurt decides to do. Has he chosen a battle tactic yet? He's chosen Desecrate. He rolled for a command point and he got it. Aaron definitely is just going to be using command point. Going to take this unit over here. Hello, Owen. To catch everyone up, the most exciting news maybe is that in an hour and a half's time, so whatever time it is locally to you, we will be having a 4 Iron Blasters brand new Ogres Underguts list playing against an Iron Jaws army to take out the event in round 5. So please do join us for that. So that'll be in an hour and a half's time. Pretty exciting. I think it'll be the first time we'll have seen what will become a pretty meta list televised. So really looking forward to that being pushed around by Tom Guan. In this matchup, we're down to the wire. Priority has just been won by Living City. The only things left on the board for Living City is unit Ironbreakers at the top and this Hurricanum. Desecrate the Lands has just been chosen by Kurt Roper, and he's decided he's moving down here. He's going to use the Living City command ability, I think, to shoot and then move again. I think that's what we're going to see. So there's the first movement. Here's the redeploy from Aaron. What did he roll? That's all he needed. That counts as 5 on the objective, which means Kurt won't achieve his battle tactic, which was the only thing he could potentially have scored this turn. So it means he drops his first battle tactic this game. So close. He could have had that. That would have given him 2 points and put him on 20, but he hasn't been able to. Okay, so he was just that's the Ironbreakers at the top. Now the Ironbreakers could still score him a point because he could have got 21 points actually. In the right situation, he could have maybe outscored. There are 5 Ironbreakers in Expert Conquerors, which are fighting these Gut Rippers. If he cleared off the Gut Rippers and was still able to maintain this objective and achieve that battle tactic, that would have been 21. There would have been no way for Kurt to pull back on the points other than when he achieved the grand strategies. But as it was, that redeploy here has meant that that Aaron has grabbed this back objective. Very close stuff. Yeah. This means that this game has been, or this game is all over. But both players just playing it out, so you can conclude the game. Really exciting. I'm not gonna lie. Very interesting as well. Like, I mean, coming down to a redeploy, I think Aaron still wins it, even if he got the battle tactic. Yeah, because of the grand strategy. Like, the grand strategy would have swung it for him. But there's not a guarantee that those Ironbreakers at the top die. It's likely, but not a guarantee. It's still dice based. Did Kurt move his movement phase, or only after shooting a redeploy illegal? No. It was a movement phase move. He had to do both. So he moved in the movement phase. Oh, really? It was just the movement phase that got him within 3 inches. So he didn't even bother shooting and then moving. Okay. Yeah. That's true. True with the redeploy. I mean, just might as well just be like, could you just tell me what you roll now? Just roll the dice. Oh, the Gut Rippers! Hello! Do we see 4 Gut Rippers go? Yeah, he can't have done Desecrate. So Aaron has chose Barge to enemy lines, which, because he's done that with Gallivets as well, he's got an additional point. Handshake, great game. Cruel Boys with the win. Kurt having a real tough time there. Absolutely fantastic game. I'd love to know why Kurt decided not to charge on the first turn with that Incarnate. Maybe Gareth could ask him and see what he thinks there. Really. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be great. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna talk to Kurt now. Hello, Kurt.
Hello.
How you doing? How was your match, Kurt?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah?
He had a really hard counter to my list of I can't shoot more than 12 inches, and all my thing is about long range shooting.
How have you found the list has traditionally performed?
I mean, I win more than I lose, but it's not like super OP.
That's true. That's true. Have you played Aaron? Have you had the opportunity to play Aaron before?
Yeah, I played against him when he was playing his orcs. Oh, hello there. So yeah, no, I played against him playing his orcs before with a similar list to this, which I was able to blow him off, but I couldn't do it this time.
Okay, all right, yeah. So, and how's the rest of the event gone? How have you found the list has played so far?
Pretty good. It's pretty much anti-shooting, or if they outrun shoot me, I lose. Anything melee, I have a good time going against them. I haven't even tried this list out before this tournament. I just added the Kron Spine, dropped a Herrick on him because I used to run 4, and it's doing all right. It's not the best, but I've been enjoying it. I have fun with it, so.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And what's it like playing West Coast? Like, what's the West Coast meta like? How are you enjoying the matches there?
Well, the meta today is a lot of the new ogres, so that's not that much fun. But besides that, I don't know. A lot of people play different armies, and it's very awkward and not the normal just like fly span all the time or things like that. So I enjoy it. I like it. Keeps
Yeah,
it new and different.
Yeah, because you get the opportunity to listen to other metas from around the world. Is there any that take your fancy? Do you like how the savage English meta feels like, or are you excited about the weird Australian meta? Any really take your fancy?
To be honest, I didn't know there's an Englishman. Wait, what are you talking about?
Oh, the meta, like the different ones. Do you ever end up seeing any of the tournament results and think, yeah, I'd like to play over there? Oh no,
No, I don't. I don't even play common games that often. To be honest, last time I played was over a month ago at the SoCal Open, and before that was like 3 months before. So I don't play that often. I just get out to a tournament when I can.
Oh, perfect.
And
you got any events lined up? You going to LVO or something like that?
Yeah, LVO, that's it.
Okay, all right.
I think Tom's trying to talk me into going to. He's got a team tournament coming up, but besides that, I'm like, I might do it, I might not. But besides that, no, just LVO, and that's it.
Oh, hey, well, it's been lovely talking to you. Thanks very much. Hopefully we get to talk to Aaron now if you fancy passing the headset over to him and seeing what he thinks of the match. That'd be cool. Yeah, go for it. That'd be cool. Thanks, man. That was great. That was great talking to Kurt there. Like, yeah. There's, oh, wow. Wow.
What's up?
Wow. Hello.
Okay, step back here. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, dude?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I just won, so it's always great, right? But it's also been a super fun tournament. Everyone's just been a blast. All my games have been hard, which is more fun. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, good.
What's
good.
up, chat? By the way,
how did you? Hello, by the way. Yeah, how did you find that particular match, and how are you finding the list so far?
I would say that matchup, my list is very, very good against it. I brought the list tailored to what I kind of expected the meta to be, and I was right. Kurt is a really, really good player, so he made it harder than it should have been, really, I guess, considering the matchup. But yeah, the game was great. Made a couple small misplays in positioning and stuff like that over the game, but like, I think I played well. Game went well, so yeah, that was fun.
How have you found the? Because you were playing some elements of Cruel Boys in Big War for a while, right? I think.
Yeah, I've also gone 4-1 with Cruel Boys twice before, but those are more like luck, to be honest. The new Cruel Boys buffs helps a lot, especially the spellcast. One of the things, though, I will tell everybody, the Gut Rippers went from extremely bad to profoundly mediocre, which is an upgrade, but definitely not like a powerhouse. As you saw, like, fucking 10 Iron Breakers is too much for them to deal with.
You also rolled pretty weak on the sixes, though, that particular game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slot machine sometimes. You're just like, did I get all the fucking sevens? No? Oh, well, yeah.
So going forward, like, do you feel like, because I know you've been pushing Cruel Boys around a lot, are you going to stick with them? Like, are you aiming to like hit LVO with that list, or like are you going to try and pivot around? How do you feel about? I mean, there's also the big elephant in the room, and that's 4 Iron Blasters running around shooting all sorts of nonsense. How do you feel about that?
So I feel this list beats Iron Blasters for sure. Like that's what I was expecting to see, and I did, but I haven't matched up against them yet. So that's a little frustrating, but they're just beating everyone else up when I came to counter them. But I do think this list, Grinning Blades in general, is amazing versus Iron Blaster meta, and good against Gargants and some other stuff that's coming out. But I will say that this particular list is probably not very optimized. I was testing out some crazy stuff. The 30 Gut Rippers, I wouldn't recommend that in hindsight, especially with bounty hunters. They've been getting cleared off pretty easily. But there's some neat tech there, and I will say the Swamp Collar changes with like being able to do Elixir for +1 to save and then Mystic Shield +1 to save on the Gut Rippers is a pretty nice combo where you couldn't do that before. So the list got like a lot more powerful. And I do think I'll be playing Cruel Boys LVO. So unless something changes, but probably won't be this exact list, but there's going to be some elements of there for sure. Because it went down 125 points and gained 2 spellcasts. So that's a pretty big buff.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Follow-up question: what's it like in are you from that area, like where the event's happening?
I'm from San Diego, which is about 2 hours south. So this is like South LA area. So I'm from that area. It's awesome. The community here is great. Everyone has a blast. There's very few unpleasant people, and there's a lot of really, really good players. And we have GTs like almost every other month in this little area because there's so many competitive players here. And like I said, all my games have been real tough. A lot of really good players. A lot of them are in like the top 50 or so on ITC scores, whatever that really means at the end of the day. But yeah, it's an awesome community, awesome location. Tom throws like the best GTs, and the rule pack that we use is really good, especially the terrain pack. I highly recommend our terrain system for interactive games. But yeah.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Hey, just because I know that you sometimes tune into like event results from around the world and stuff. Is there anywhere around the world you fancy playing, or anyone particularly you fancy playing?
There's definitely. I mean, I still haven't had a chance to fight Gavin. Like we go to a lot of tournaments, and I just never get to go up against him. And I want to at some point fight Gavin. Also, like the Australian meta is just bizarre all the time, and that would be really fun to play against Australians. Just because there's just crazy lists all the time. So I think that's like the meta that I would be super excited to like jump into and see that for sure. So
all right, fab.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and
Thank you.
congrats on the game. Good luck in your 5th game. I'll see you soon.
all right, see ya.
Hello. Me. Pressed the wrong button there. Welcome back. Thank you to Gareth and the Nuge for running and setting up. Well, Nuge for running the event and Gareth for help setting up the stream. We'll be back in an hour and 10 minutes time, or about an hour's time, for the final match, where we know we're getting Iron Jaws versus Iron Blasters. What's better, an Iron Blaster or an Iron Jaw? In an hour and a half's time. Well, an hour's time. So very, very excited about that. That's going to be really fun. Thank you to Aaron for that interview there, and also to Kurt. They were great. Yes, so join us then. Going offline now. Back in an hour. Get ready. Get your little gym jams on if you're from the UK. Yeah, get yourself comfy in bed, all snuggled up to watch some absolute lunacy. Yeah, right? Okay, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.